Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Well, it is Friday night or Saturday morning, depending on how you look at it. Hello, Mary H. Thank you so much for being first. And let me see. Where's that nifty little thing I learned how to do? Okay. All right. I see a lot of the usual suspects are here. Okay. Hello, Elaine Parker. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We say good morning to you. Good morning. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So I'm scrolling back through the other way. All right. I think we're good to go. Oh, no, we're not. I got to put some slides up, don't I? Okay. Let me get my slides up and then we're good. Wow, I took a nap and I'm still kind of feel like I could take another nap. Okay. And oh, I wonder if that would work. Yeah. Oh, Elaine Parker, thank you for the super sticker and thank you so much for being here. Okay, my slides are still coming up. Excellent. Oh, very good. Okay, let me close some of these screens. Let me see. Oh, my computer ain't that hot, but it was acting kind of funny earlier. Sometime in what? Wow, happy birthday, Elaine Parker. It's Elaine Parker's birthday. Lots of love and blessing. Thank you so much for that, Lydia, for the warning. All right, happy birthday, Elaine Parker. Church Nelly, 26 weeks. And welcome back, Church Nelly. I hope you're feeling a million. Or at least, I don't know, 550,000. And let's see. Okay, for Church Nelly and then Elaine, 76th birthday today. Okay, thank you for the reminder again. Well, we're going to have to dance this off while I go and grab some more coffee. Woo, this is right on time. I can go grab me some more coffee. Hello, Ivy here. Let me see. Although I should have got a head start. Wait, let me get a head start on getting up from this seated position. You know, being the age I am, I got to get a head start because if I do it all at once, I might end up on the floor. All right. So, Elaine Parker, happy birthday and welcome back, Church Nelly. Hello, Ivy here. Hello, Ivy. Today is Lilibet Diana Mountbatten-Windsor's birthday. Meet me at the Royal Sussex party. Church Nelly's gonna be there. All right, Ivy out. You know what? I have not come down from my high yet. As you know, I. All right. Happy birthday, Elaine Parker, and welcome back, Church Nelly. All right. You won't believe the concoction I managed to put together in that short period of time. Coffee. or as I like to say, um, can't fly with one wing. Someone told me one time you can, but it's just you'll be going around in circles. All right. Well, happy birthday, Elaine Parker. And more good news. Welcome back, Church Nelly. Wow. 26 months of Royal Sussex. I just can't believe my eyes. I think all of that Sussex squad praying definitely worked. Okay. And welcome to everyone else that just joined us here. All right. Yeah, there we go. Hello, Judy Matassid, Catherine Schermacher. Let's see, Cass Sterling. And we said hi to Black Queen, who is reminding you all to make sure you hit that like button. Don Bennett, I'm sorry, Burnett. Faithview, Adrienne Burrows, Katie V, Coco, Kathy G, Sandra Gonzalez, Deb 89. Okay. Looks so much younger on that photo, though. Hazel Jones, or is that born in 89? Now that might make sense. Still looks so young on that photo, though, right? Okay. April May, Legs is here. Shell Bells, hello. Okay. All right. So let me continue here then. Uh, Prince Harry wins latest step in court case. What does classy mean? That's a good question. Fear of big protests in London. Daily Mail strikes back. Of course they would. And it's all so nonsensical, but we're gonna go with it anyway because, well, they I guess they kind of dare us. Oh, you got some coffee too. All right, excellent. Yeah, I could drink coffee any hour of the day and night. I don't know if caffeine still works on me. I mean, I get a little buzz, but um okay. That's good. All right. Here we go. So, Armistice Day, is it Armistice Day or is it, oh, I'm sorry, Remembrance Day? Is that the same thing? Remembrance Day is the 11th, as well as the what is it? Fudge. What am I trying to say? Wait a minute. Sunday. It's Sunday, right? No. Of the 11th or Sunday. Well, anyway, are they observing it tomorrow? Oh, I'm getting myself confused. All I know is Veteran Day and Remembrance Day are on the same day. So this is a time to reflect, remember, and also celebrate and acknowledge the. How many veterans do we have here? Church? No, not church. Black Queen, right? Black Queen, are you the only veteran that's in the chats right now? Is there anyone else we need to thank for their service? Yeah, veterans are special people, though. They really are, and got a few in my family too. Um, but I tell you one thing that I noticed about the ones that went through WW2, they never talked about it. They never talk about it. I mean, to tell you, I would watch a lot of those war documentaries and war movies. And I don't know, for some reason, the generations in the past, there wasn't a whole lot of conversation about it. Even if they didn't have the most unpleasant of times, you just, oh, Shell Bell, you're also a veteran. Okay. Oh, I'm just talking. I hope I didn't miss anybody else. Okay. Well, thank you for your service. Let me see here. Happy Veterans Day. Yes, thank you so much. Lex says Happy Veterans Day. Okay. Anastasia, am I too late again? Anastasia's going to bed. Good night, Anastasia. Okay. Oh, Vivian Green. Oh, thank you for your service. Very cool. So Vivian Green, Shell Bell, Black Queen, and did I miss anybody? Oh, Amelia Rodriguez, thank you so much for that. You too, Lydia Washington. Thank you for your service. Very cool. Okay, let's see. Karen M, also a veteran. And your father and grandfather leg says, very cool. Very, very cool. Oh, and to the LH, thank you so much for the Cash App. And thank you so much for being here. Okay. Oh, and also I got a PayPal for someone earlier. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Let me see if I can find the initials. Just the initials, not the name. Didn't mean to do that. You know, they changed the S is in Sam and S is in Samantha. Thank you so much. SS, which could mean Sussex Squad. Thank you so much for the it says congratulations on your birthday on November 4th. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I see who it's from. Thank you very much. Oh, see there? Thank you. And that was very, very nice. And my birthday was like days ago, but the blessings have rolled in again. I really do appreciate it. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let's see. LDSW, I'm sorry if I missed anyone. Not a veteran, but the widow, sister, niece, and several in my family, including having two great grandfathers who served in the colored troops during the Civil War. That is so impressive. That is so impressive. Wow. Lola Love says that is so true. My dad never talked about it. They were what is called the silent generation. Apparently, because nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. And I used to ask, and I couldn't get anything out of anybody. Marshall says, Semper Fi, hoorah! I'm saying it right? Hoorah! The United States Marine Corps, thank you for your service. Our country appreciates you. Happy birthday, Marines, November 10th, 1775. Today is 248 years. Well, thank you so much for that information. I had no idea. Is the Marines the oldest branch? Or was it that Continental Army or whatever? Or is that the same thing? Is that like one and the same? Wow. Well, I tell you one veteran that I think we all should acknowledge, and that, of course, is Lafayette. Lafayette. Let me see. What was his name? Was it George? Well, okay, there's Lafayette, and then there was the was he an indentured servant? Was he a slave? Was he a freedman? I can't remember. But if you know the story, Gilbert Lafayette, a Frenchman who wanted to become a man, he was a nobleman who came to the United States and served under George Washington because he was 19 years old. He had inherited a fortune. And the only way he knew he could become a man was to absorb those virtues of the struggle for independence, right, in the United States. And there was I think he was a freedman, maybe. I think he was free, but nope. I'm sorry, he was not free. I don't think he was free. But the the men that I'm thinking about, I know he used the name Lafayette to honor Lafayette, but he actually did reconnaissance and intelligence. He was a spy for the United States or the Continental Army or whatever you call it under George Washington, but he was working for Lafayette. And because he was a black man, they did not feel as though he was a threat. So he could move between both sides and taking all of the secrets that he learned from the English back to the American side. And that was one that actually won a very decisive battle, a battle that is for the American forces. And I believe it was Lafayette who worked very hard. I think it was either to free him or to ensure that he got a pension for his troubles. But yeah, it's a really great story. I remember I spoke about it before, but that is why there's so many places in the U.S. called Lafayette and Fayetteville, is because of that Frenchman, Gilbert Lafayette. It's like one of my favorite stories. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and scroll through them. Sorry, I'm missing all of these great comments, I think. Let's see. Here's a couple more. My son was in the Navy, one generation in the Army, another grandson in a Marine. And oh, and you're saying hi, right? Okay. And let's see. Deborah Robinson says, Barry, my great grandfather, 5 times removed, came here with Lafayette to fight in the Revolutionary War. Oh my goodness. I'm loving this connection. I'm loving this connection. Speaking of connections, hello Rohini. I am loving this connection. Yep. Well, Deborah Robinson, to tell you, there is a fantastic story there with Lafayette. So please, you all go and look that up. I should do a video, I think. But yeah, that's a great story about Lafayette. He he actually, one of the sad things about Lafayette's life is that when he went back to France, he took part in the French Revolution and he ended up jailed. And his wife did not want him to be alone in jail, so she and the kids went to jail with him, and he was being held prisoner in another country, and somehow he got set free. And it's one of those famous stories of the French hated it, then they loved it, then they hated it again. Well, they can't decide whether Lafayette is a hero or not. Um, So right now, his statue in Paris is hidden behind trees. But I love the French for the way they love and hate stuff, never at the same time. It's like they make up their mind and they're not like, nah, we hate it again. No, we don't like them. Um, okay, I'm going to move on because I have so much stuff to cover. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, thank you, Deb89. I'm a little rusty right now with my Lafayette story, but thank you very much. But yeah, it was like us. One of my favorite stories from history is Lafayette. First time I learned about him, I was just like, I like this guy. Unfortunately, Lafayette had a falling out with George Washington because Lafayette, after the Revolutionary War, he wrote George Washington and said, if the United States is ever going to live up to the aspirations of the United States Constitution and be a beacon of freedom, I'm paraphrasing, it is very important that you set the slaves free. And George Washington's response was, what? Who's going to do the work? I'm afraid that's impossible. And so, yeah, the man that he looked up to as a father figure, as his father died when he was very young, Lafayette was heartbroken because he loved and admired George Washington. And George Washington, being the contemporary man of that era, would not hear of freeing the slaves. And I believe they were supposed to be freed upon his death, and they were not. Was that right? His wife would not allow it until after she was gone or something like that. It was crazy. But yeah, so very interesting story about that. So if you go anywhere around the United States, like Lafayette, Indiana, Lafayette Street, Lafayette Park, or Fayetteville, whatever state that's in, all of those places are named after Gilbert Lafayette. Let's see. There's an officer in the Navy or something to do that effect. Oh, okay, that was for someone else. Sorry about that. Jacqueline Squash, the official veteran. I'm sorry, the official chaplain, the clergy of the Royal Sussex. My husband Donald Squash served in Vietnam from 1970 to 1973. Wow, wow, that's very impressive. And Don Burnett says, brother served in the Marines, Vietnam twice, Okinawa, your city baron. Wow, okay. Chicago, Washington, D.C., Norfolk, and over 20 years, he doesn't talk either. He doesn't talk about it either. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm sure there's a reason for that, but that is very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Charlene Bates, thank you so much for the super chat. I love that people in important places see Harry as a real deal. He worked very hard at everything he does. Amen to that. I'm telling you all, I'm so proud of Harry. Um, just by the way that, you know, as we learn from Spare, definitely you would have to say this is someone who was a very flawed individual for some very obvious reasons, who managed to see light at the end of the tunnel, to see hope, to know when to ask for help, who knew when to help other people. All of those things. I'm just so incredibly proud of how Harry has lived his life. Um, that book, Spare, it has helped and will continue to help so many people, having him as an example. And the one of the biggest draws of the story is what was supposed to be a life of privilege, right? A life of privilege. You find out that somehow it was almost as though he was orphaned when his mother died, and that he was just left to the devices of an institution, and somehow he just got lost in that institution, hiding in plain sight. All of this was happening, and we were led to believe that he and his brother was like this dynamic duo, and all of the things we thought was Harry's life, only to find out that the truth was stranger than fiction. Stranger than fiction. Now that's a monumental understatement. The truth is stranger than fiction. And truly it was. Truly it was. That window into that world um, is very valuable to people that really want to know these things or need to know these things. So thank you so much, Charlene Bates, for the super chat. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Let me see. Fayetteville is in North Carolina. Okay. And isn't there, I think there may be another one somewhere. I think there may be more than one, or maybe that's it. Maybe it's just that one. But yeah, um, that is named for Lafayette. Lafayette actually went on a tour of the United States to celebrate 50 years of the American Revolution, right? And when he went around the country, he was celebrated as a hero every place he went. And at that time, that's when a lot of cities and towns and such, they started naming things to honor him. So, yeah, he went on a victory tour of the United States, a country that he helped form. How many people could say that? And because he was such a young man, he was this elderly man that traveled the country. And they said when he arrived in I think it was New York Harbor, that there were tens of thousands of, like, half the population of New York City at that time greeted him at the harbor upon arrival. I'm sure there's never been anything like that since, but thousands of people greeting Lafayette at the harbor. And for a few months, he went around the United States as a hero, celebrated as a hero. Thank you so much for your comment. And let's see, my grandfather never recovered after serving in World War II. I'm sorry, my grandmother never recovered after serving in World War II. Both she and my grandfather served, both British. My grandfather never discussed it. Wow. Wow. Yeah. That is something else. I when I was in London, I think it was back in 2007, maybe. I went to one of the Christopher Wren churches that was damaged during the war, and I think there was a couple of other places where there was still like the impact of I guess some of the bombs that were dropped. Yeah, I think it was some of the bombs, or yeah, it was the impact of some of the bombs that were dropped was still, like, etched into the stone, which was amazing considering, how different everything looks now. But yeah, that was incredible. Okay, thank you very much for your comment. Okay, now I better move on because I promise you I got a lot of stuff to recover. Not to Okay. And oh yeah, that is a good point. That is a good point. Lola Love says Jim Crow ruled the land at the time. People learned to keep their mouth shut because of the discrimination and brutality done to black folks at that time. Yeah, not just from World War II, but also from World War One. Blacks were fighting for freedom for people across the ocean and wasn't afforded that freedom here at home. And returning in their uniforms, they faced a lot of backlash from, especially in rural towns, and not rural towns only, but even in the big cities. The pride of seeing, yourself in a uniform, you expect to be treated as someone who has fought for their country. You should be treated as a hero. But instead, a lot of lynchings took place, a lot of racially motivated attacks. And that's one reason why back in 1919, there were quite a few race riots across the United States. It was because of the soldiers returning from World War One. So yeah, there was a great deal of that. Lola, thank you for reminding us about that. Um, let's see. Joanne Hung, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for being here tonight. Now, 31 minutes and 23 seconds in, I'm going to go to the next slide. Although this is so interesting, I could stay on this for much longer, but we better move on. So, Sussex 2023. As you can see inside of the letters and numerals are images of the Sussexes. Someone on the Twitter created a collage of images, and I layered the numerals on top of it so that you know we could I don't know. I just thought it was kind of an artsy way to celebrate the Sussexes for a very, very productive year. Um, okay, and take a look there. So, racist British tabloids firmly committed to never letting the facts get in the way of a narrative. And thank you. I believe it was a squatty named Chris who does a lot of detective work for the Sussex squad. Meghan Markle sparked fury in veterans with poppy choice ahead of Armistice Day. Oh, so they do call it Armistice Day. Okay. Wearing a poppy is a sign of respect on Armistice Day, but it doesn't mean anything for Veterans Day in the United States, says some vicious uh, writer. What is it? Bernadette Giamazzo for the Daily Express. But over here, you can see, why do people wear red poppies on Memorial Day, on Veterans Day? What do red poppies represent? And so, in the very small, fuzzy print, it says, this Saturday, millions of people around the country will observe Veterans Day and honoring the people who served and are still serving in the military, protecting the country and our way of life. Some of them will be wearing red flowers on their lapels. Why it started during World War One. Over 100 years later, red poppies from both the VFW and the American Legion still are handed out on on Veterans Recognition Day, such as Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and the National Poppy Day. Well, as we learned, what was it, yesterday? This is a fine tradition that actually started here in the United States. And anyone who wants to push back against the Duchess for wearing the red poppy, which, of course, as the wife of a veteran, as well as someone who herself has uh, supported the armed services, especially by volunteering at the USO. Let's just go through this again. On the left side is the American Legion family poppy, and on the right is more of a, I guess that would be a British poppy, which says, or from the Commonwealth, lest we forget, because people in the Commonwealth, as someone reminded us, they wear those all over the Commonwealth, but you will see most of it in the UK, right? Lest we forget. So they wear these uh, you know, all over the place, but it's not as common here in the US. You know how we roll here in the US. We get those American flags out. Every patriotic holiday, whether it's Memorial Day, even Labor Day, the 4th of July, Independence Day, and of course, Veterans Day, out comes the flags, right? We tend to gravitate toward the flag, which is probably one reason why we don't use the poppy as much, is because the flag was pushed a long time ago as a way to show patriotism and honoring the military. So we kind of lean on that more often. Oh, thank you. Teresa McDougall says we do the less we forget in Canada. Thank you so much for that. Um, and it was something else I wanted to. Uh, okay, I let that get past me. Sorry about that. Uh, okay. So another one I wanted to read, but I let it get by. Well, the reason why, the reason why I have both of them up there is because some people, it's hard to tell in the photo, but some people suspect that Megan was wearing the American Legion poppy, right? Now, as for the Raglan family, I don't know how many people in the Raglan family or who may have served in the Raglan family, but I suspect that there may be some ancestors on her mother's side that served. I suspect. I don't know for sure. But fortunately, we haven't been forced to learn a whole lot about the Raglins because they keep a low profile, and that's a good thing. Um, they tend to stay out of the limelight, so we don't know a whole lot about the Raglins, just a little bit. But it's unclear. I couldn't see a clear photo, so I'm not sure which of the two she's wearing. But whichever one she's wearing, it does have the black border at the bottom, the the scrolly thing at the bottom. So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Lex says, "Oh, Lex says, wait, Baron, aren't these? Oh yeah, you just. I'm sorry. Why did I do that again? Uh, Let me go here. So then, there again is what I shared the other day on November 1918, a poem by Canadian military doctor John McCrae, inspired American humanitarian Moina Michael to wear and distribute poppies in honor of fallen soldiers. 2 days before the armistice agreement was signed, Miss Michael bought and then pinned a red poppy to her coat. Again, this started in the United States, according to this and a few other places that I've seen it. This was an American tradition, a United States tradition, should I say. And as it says at the top, the British tradition of wearing poppies in honor of the fallen started in the United States of America. And I'm pretty sure that during the time of QE2, um, that the Armistice Day or the Remembrance Day grew in popularity because it was so important to the Queen. That was always a very emotional day for the Queen, so it only grew in popularity. Um, and of course, consider how many uh, people were lost in World War I in in Europe at that time. I mean to tell you, World War I was a huge slaughter for the Brits, the Germans, and anybody else, the French that fought. It was a massive slaughter because people were taken off guard by the mechanization of war. The first time a machine gun was used was during the Civil War in the United States. They used to call it the repeater or something like that. And by the time of this World War I, they had perfected not only that, but they started using chemical weapons for the first time on a massive scale, mustard gas and such. So it it was a massive slaughter during World War I for Europe, and so there's no wonder that that Armistice Day or Remembrance Day is very much a big day in the UK because of the severe losses and such, and I'm sure just about every place else because there were Americans, Canadians, and people from all over the Commonwealth that served. So yeah, but anyway, that is just the fact, which makes it kind of ludicrous that they are making a big deal out of the Duchess of Sussex wearing the poppy as a way to admonish the Sussexes, as usual, to find something critical to say. But as we want to remind people what is and is not factual and truthful, um, Meghan is an American and she is married to a prince of the realm who is a veteran, and she is totally right and justified as a princess of the realm to wear the poppy, whatever they think. As I have said, The Duchess of Sussex is in the Burke's Peerage, the Brett's Peerage book, as a royal. She's on the official royal website. She is still a princess. And even though people want to forget that, it just happens to be a fact. Uh, yes, and thank you, Reba Henderson, is also reminding us of the California poppy, which I believe is golden yellow. And if I could remove that, I'm going to take myself out of here for just a second so that you can see the um, the coat of arms. Hold on one. Now, if you look, oh, I didn't have to do that. Take a look at the bottom of the screen. You can see the California poppies. That is part of Meghan's coat of arms. They included the California poppy, right? And I'm going to take myself away again. Take a quick. So the blue in the shield represents the Pacific Ocean. The feathers represent the fact that Meghan is a calligrapher and something else. I think I forget. Of course, the whatever the bird is represents something else about Meghan. So anyway, all of those are representations of the Duchess of Sussex, as well as the other side of it represents the Duke of Sussex. So there's a combined coat of arms for them, and this is their but anyway. But there is a society or a guild or something like that that makes those for everyone in the royal family. And Thomas Markle would have received one, just like they created one for the Middletons. Thomas would have received one, but because Thomas was so dodgy, I don't think they ever made one for him. But I believe Thomas Markle was to receive one, just as the Middletons. They have one that includes the acorn because of their merchant history or whatever. So there's a lot of symbolism that goes into those. And so, yeah, the California poppy, but it's a golden yellow, not red. But thank you for that. So, okay. Let's see. Okay. Phoebe Swartz says it is not even a very convincing lie, as we just witnessed many veterans thanking Meghan for supporting them at Invictus and just the other night in San Diego at the opening of the SEAL site. Thank you, Phoebe. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad Church Nellie is back. I every time I look over and I see Church Nellie's name, two things come over me. One is I'm glad she's back, and the other is how come I don't have a drink in my hand? And by the way, happy Veterans Day to you, Church Nellie. Happy Veterans Day. Um, Uh, if you know, you know. Happy Veterans Day. Um, I got that out of my system. Church Nelly, I'm so glad you're back. Who would I mess with if you wasn't here? Uh, okay, so uh, okay. Now, Prince Harry wins latest stage and newspaper claim. Well, I did make a short video earlier. I don't think I need to play it because by now we all know that Harry has won the right to pursue the case, and yeah, so that's pretty much all we need to know. Is that Harry has won the right to pursue the case along with the other claimants that were named. Let me see. I did have that yesterday, didn't I? Let me see. I wanted to share it again if I have it here. So, was this it? No, that's not it. Well, anyway, so that includes Elizabeth Hurley, Sir Elton John, David Furnish, is it Sadie Frost, and Doreen Lawrence, Baroness Doreen Lawrence. Yeah, so all of those people. Hey, Leslie F. All of those people will have the right to. Okay, maybe it wasn't yesterday. When did I use that? I thought it was yesterday. It had to have been yesterday. But anyway, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. Is that they have a right to pursue the case, and I hope that hell rains down on the tabloid media. In this case, that would be the Daily Fail. Okay. Okay, didn't need that at all. We all know what happened with. Oh, there it is right there. So this came in super early in the morning for us here in the U.S. Afternoon, or it was after 10 o'clock a.m. in the UK. But there you can see the Associated Newspaper, which of course is the parent company of the Mail on Sunday, and all the rest of the garbage that they own. Yeah. And Jacqueline Squash says, "Thank God Almighty for Church Nelly." Yes. Yes, thank you, Jacqueline Squash, the official chaplain of Royal Sussex. Okay, so back over here. I won't play the video. We all know what's up with that. So decision means Prince Harry claim of unlawful information gathering can be heard in a full trial. Now, the Daily Fail, they're trying to, what was that they said? Oh, let me tell you what the Daily Mail said. The Daily Fail said that that Prince Harry and the rest of the claimants, they lost the right to use the Levinson trial as evidence. They don't need the Levinson trial as evidence because there is plenty, and I do mean plenty. And they say the most compelling of all of those claimants, of course, is Doreen Lawrence, who they, on the one hand, was trying to help her seek justice, and on the other hand, they put the Lawrence family through hell. So, there you go. And this is what I think of the tabloid media. And there's always a way to deal with anything like that. You just have to find the right kind of cat. So when you have a rat problem, go and get yourself a tough cat. There you go. So I'm going to move on then. Thank you very much so far, everyone. And thank you all for being here as per usual. And there, I'm sending you the hearts. I'm sending you a heart. There's my avatar. Maybe I'll use that for Royal Sussex for a while. But there's my avatar. Gray hair, square glasses. That don't look nothing like my nose. I have no issue with the width of my nose, but the way it juts out in front of me is always alarming. One of my closest friends once told me, she said, it looks like somebody took some Play-Doh and just balled it up and threw it at your face. And I was like, I love you too. I may be an ancestor of Carl Malden. I'm not sure. But like I said, as we age, it's amazing how large our nose become, how big our ears become. I'm like, my goodness, why is I'm losing muscle mass here and I'm gaining cartilage there? That doesn't seem fair. This is sinking in and this is protruding. It's not fair. How come things can't just stay the way it's been? Why? Why? So anyway, and I made this one too. I love this one. Oh, thank you, Fatima. Thank you very much. Okay, let me take this away. Oh, there we go. I just do that. So, you guys, Connie Palmer. Hey, Connie Palmer. Now the morning is complete. Elaine Parker is here for her birthday. Connie Palmer is starting her day. Elaine Parker is somewhere in between, I think. And everybody else is here. So yeah, we're good now. We're so good. General Charles Q. Brown Jr. is the 21st chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the nation's highest ranking military officer and the principal military advisor to the President, Secretary of Defense, and the National Security Council. So if you've ever seen one of those one of those movies where they go into like the secret undisclosed location um, at the White House, this is one of the people that would be in that room, no doubt. This is one of the people that you would see in the room. So when you see those movies and you see all of the big brass sitting at that table and the big monitor and all that kind of stuff, I just want you to envision Charles Q. Brown being one of those people, right? Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Um, and also just someone that Prince Harry was hanging out with at the Warrior Games. And I feel the need to remind people about this, mostly the haters and derangers, that while you all are going through all this nonsense with, oh, look at the celebrities who managed to show up at the um, Earth Flop. Oh, there was who was there? Was it Kate Blanchett? Someone who I just adore. I think she's so talented. Um, and also, let's see, they managed to fly in the wannabe knight of the round table. What's his name? Uh, David Beckham, and a few other people that showed up. And this time they even managed to fly in the recipients of the award for a change, right? Okay, that's really sweet. I'm so glad that William had what he assumes is a success, although we all know that is a flop for a reason. That's because nobody's interested, nobody's going to watch, and it's not going to do anything to change the way we live. It's a nice way to reward people for their innovations. I won't take that away from them. But the big changes that we need to make to save this planet will not happen because of Earth flop. That money could be better spent building housing for people. But just as a reminder, this is just the type of people that Harry spends his time with. He's not running around looking for celebrities, and I get so aggravated every time I see the mention of that from the derangers and the tabloid media. Yes, we know it's not true, and that's that should be the only thing that matters. But it's part of a scheme to make the Sussexes look like they're money hungry. Megan is trying to jumpstart her acting career, even though she said before she quit acting that uh, she's moving on to something else. She said that one of her friends, one of the cast members of the Suits said that Megan had expressed the idea of moving on while she was still under contract. But that's not what people want to hear. They want, well, not that those are people, but that's not what those individuals want to hear. They want to believe the worst because somehow they take comfort in the idea that the Sussexes are failing or that Sussexes are phony. The Sussexes have some diabolical plan. All they want to do is service. They want to live a life of service. I know people that work 9 to 5 jobs, and in their off time, they do some extraordinary things in the name of service. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sure, as to some degree, we all do some type of service. Everyone, each and every one of us. If you're mentoring a friend, if you're spending time with someone in grief, you are doing service. Maybe you're not tithing to your house of worship, but if you've ever helped out someone with 20 bucks, you are doing service. Do not be deceived. It doesn't have to be anything as formal as the Archwell Foundation or the Prince's Trust or the Red Cross. We all do some type of service. Black Queen says, Baron, they do that to gaslight. They are like skulking hyenas. Now you leave the Princess of Wales out of this. They will never say anything good about Harry, especially Meghan, even though they know they are excellent. Yeah, yeah. It's all part of the gaslighting. It's all part of the propaganda. And the type of people that do this, grandmas, people that otherwise you would think were a pillar of the community, when in reality they are Brexiteers or MAGA people, white supremacists, all of those things are usually part of it. So that is one of the components. It is definitely that, and Harry, of course, has to be punished for being with a woman of color. That he has to be punished for that, no doubt. That they feel it is their job to punish him for falling in love with Megan, who is of African American descent. They have to punish him for that. He's been referred to as a race traitor. And it's a very dangerous pursuit that they have because, as Jeremy Vine has said, as Prince Harry has said, as many people have said, that you incite hostility against people through your rhetoric. You incite hostility, and that is not healthy. It seems like a little game for some people, but there are some people out there. There are some people out there. They don't see themselves as that person, perhaps, but they are just as nasty and vicious and cruel, and have a very evil spirit that they sit back and hope for something like that. I have no time for anyone who has that mentality that Diana had it coming. But there are people that say that in a very clear voice, a full throated, she had it coming. She should have known better. She should have kept her mouth shut. And the abuse continues, or so they think it shall. But it's a new day. It is 2023. So, okay, so that's just, and by the way, this is one of the people that Harry was sitting next to at the Warrior Games this summer. I think it was in June, was it? Yeah, he was sitting right there next to him. And at the time, I believe he was already being, I guess, recruited or conscripted by the White House to be the next Joint Chiefs of Staff, secretary, whatever the case is. This is the kind of people that Harry is totally comfortable with and actually has something to say to someone like General Brown. He actually can hold his conversation with someone like this. He's not in a rush. He's not fiddling around looking for notes. None of that. Uh, Colin Powell, who was a friend of Princess Diana. Well, we all know the very nice and kind and generous things that Colin Powell has said about Prince Harry. He recognized Prince Harry at a very young age that he was something special, that he was someone to know. He said some great things about him, realizing that Harry wasn't trying to get by on his good looks, that he wanted to do service to his country, to Queen and country, as well as humanity. Now, Harry at the time did not feel he was worthy of that award because of his youth. Well, let me tell you something. He has totally grown into it. He has totally grown into it. Whatever doubts he may have had about the worthiness of receiving that award, he has totally grown into it. I mean, he is a statesman now. He is a global leader. And of course, Prince Harry, Boris Pistorius, defense minister. That is the German defense minister. Harry has taken the Invictus Games to Germany. And we all found out, much to our heartbreak, we all found out that there was not a culture in Germany of protecting, uplifting, and supporting veterans. Now, there's a lot of stigma because of World War II and all of that time that I can understand it, but still, it's very disappointing. Um, for a long time, Germany did not have much of a military because of World War II. But nowadays, Germany is participating more with NATO, right? And of course, at some point, who knows, in the future, they may need to defend themselves. And so, again, Harry, being the global leader that he is, I mean, the two of them, we saw the two of them on that variety show or whatever that show was called, where you have this defense secretary kicking that ball into the hole and showing some of his soccer skills. What an amazing moment that was for Harry, for the people of Germany, for the veterans that can rely upon their own Invictus. Now, some people were concerned about that, but what they want to do is to have something for the veterans there, for the people in the armed services there, where they can participate in sports year round. And hopefully, that people in Germany will be inclined to support them because they were trying to have like some kind of event for veterans. I forget what it was called, but the reason it didn't happen at first was because there was this pushback from people that were like, no, 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 nothing like that here in Germany ever again. And then finally, they got the green light to have whatever the event was. But that is what the veterans in Germany are up against. It kind of reminds me of the how they treated the soldiers returning from Vietnam. Maybe not as severe as that. Maybe in some cases it was, but either way, they were serving their country. They served their country, and they deserve to be respected for that. Whether or not you agree with war, that is not the point. The point is that some very able bodied young people have gone to serve their country, and sometimes they come back without their legs, or sometimes they have those hidden wounds that you can't see, but it affects them. So, whatever the case may be, they deserve our support. So, that is just the way I feel about it. Recollections may vary, your feelings may vary, but that is what I have to say about it. They deserve our support. So that is what Harry's doing. Harry is bringing that to the veteran community. Megan is bringing that to the veteran community, as much as it bothers some people to have to witness that. But Megan is very popular in the veterans community, especially here in the United States. Very popular. And there's a reason for that, because we support our veterans. That's the lesson learned from Vietnam. If we didn't get anything else out of it, that was a lesson learned. And that type of mistreatment will never happen again, especially at the scale where people returned from war and was mistreated and spat upon, and they had to hide their veteran status for fear that there would be some retribution and such. That will never happen again. So thank you again, Harry, Megan, Archwell. Thank you. That's all I can say is thank you, because the veterans deserve better than that. They really do deserve better than that. So that's the important thing that he's doing. All of that nonsense that the tabloids are trying to stir up is so ridiculous and so small. That is just small of them. They're very small people, absolutely small people. And of course, this seems to grate on their nerves. This just grates on their nerves. How dare they go and get be appreciated by the military community, which, by the way, is vast in the state of California. Vast. They're in the right place. They are in the right place at this point in their lives. They are in just the place that they need to be. And even when they're not there, as we know, Harry went to the Pearl Harbor Museum. They were both in New Jersey. Was it Lakehurst, New Jersey? I shared that yesterday, actually. That was my little flashback to the period in which they were visited with the. But anyway, that's their tradition. They are with the veterans this time of year every year. That is their tradition. So we'll see many more of those occasions. Let me see here. I'm trying to find it. Was this it? Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. So 2023, 2022, 2021. That was when they were in New Jersey. And of course, 2020, they went, that was during the height of the pandemic. So they went to a veterans, a military cemetery. And then, of course, they in 2019 they were in the UK, and 2018 the year they were married. So again, that is something that they do as a family every year, no matter what. Service is universal. Does not matter whether or not they're in Narnia. They are going to do what they're going to do. And of course, I can't stop sharing this. So pardon me if I do it again. Pardon me if I do it again, but I just gotta. I just gotta. And you know what I gotta do. So just stick around. I promise you, I won't go and get anything to snack on. I am just going to sit here and listen with you. Um, okay. Oh, got to do that first. All right. Let me get that going. Let me get that going.
Opening of a facility for Navy SEALs and their families. ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo joins us live from downtown where the event is going on now. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Wally. Yes, and we did get a glimpse of the Duke and Duchess. They have since gone inside to this new state-of-the-art facility behind me. This is closed to the press, but it is open to these people you see here behind me. These are Navy SEALs and their families. The facility has the best of the best for some of the most elite members of our military. Now, the ribbon cutting happened just about 30 minutes ago, so take a look. We want to show you what that looked like. Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, were here to show the support for the Navy SEAL Foundation. Now, Prince Harry is a veteran of the British military and has been a longtime supporter of military families in the U.S. He's also the founder of the Invictus Games. Now, I want to show you what the facility looks like inside. It's nearly 20,000 square feet right here on 10th Avenue near Petco Park. The West Coast Warriors Fitness Program facility, as it's called, will allow Navy SEAL warriors and veterans to train and recover from injuries and trauma during a 4 to 6 week program. Now, this opening, of course, just comes days ahead of Veterans Day. The facility will not only have the best fitness and workout equipment, but will also be staffed with personnel to work with and guide the SEALs. Now, it's
okay. Now, that was really nice, but
this is what former SEAL and really the project manager of the Navy SEAL Foundation, Tony Dunstey, had to say about how special it was to have the Prince and Princess of Sussex.
We're thrilled that the Duke and Duchess are here. It's quite an honor for them to be here for the commissioning. They've proven through the Archwell Foundation their commitment to veteran causes, domestically and internationally. Specifically, they've really destigmatized mental health issues for those who have gone through military service. And they've done that with courage. And it's just great validation to have them here. It's a great signal of partnership internationally. And we're honored to have them here for the grand opening.
So,
what former
there you go. Whatever those ridiculous people have to say, as much as they would love to take away the Invictus Games from Harry, as much as they would love to turn the military against the Sussexes, I tell you, that is, what is that term they call it? A fool's errand. That is a fool's errand. That will not bear any fruit. That dog is not going to hunt. It's just not going to happen. They are a firm fixture in that world, and there's nothing that those tabloid people can do. They've already have tried it. Harry wrote that book, and that book, of course, was written to deal with some of the nonsense that they were trying to use against him, and it just did not work. It is not effective. It is like what is that? Harry is like he's well, first of all, he is covered in prayers, but in a more contemporary way of putting it, he has a coating of Teflon. He is resistant to stains and such. So whatever it is that they're thinking, they could give up on that. Whatever their plots and schemes, as they say, the best laid plans of mice and men, etc., etc. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I reinforced that that truth that the Sussexes are protected by a lot of prayer and by a lot of friends, people that wish them well in their new life in California. So, like I said, now anyway, let me tell you, I'm so surprised that I forgot about this, but I have been saying for 2 days, there's got to be some kind of video out there. There's got to be some kind of video out there. Well, guess what? There's some kind of video out there. there is some kind of video out there, and I found it, and I forgot to have it prepared. But I'm sitting here right now. I think I just about got it, so I'm going to share it with you in just a moment. Let me look at a couple of comments here. I'm moving it from my phone to the PC. Antoinette Kennedy says, Baron, have you noticed that everything Harry and Meghan are involved in are all foundations to grow for a lifetime? In other words, the IG Foundation, the Invictus Game, Archwell Foundation, etc. Absolutely. Absolutely. They don't do anything by half. And none of the things that they're involved in is some fly by night vanity project. None of it. All of it will live on, well into the future. At some point, they may decide to step down and leave it to other people. But for now, it's all hands on deck, and they are doing the business. So yeah, it's interesting that they seem to not Harry and Meghan, of course, but the press, and I suppose Kensington Palace, they seem to think that this campaign to try to I guess muddy them up, they seem to think that it's working, or that they have made some ground. And so at this point now, as said earlier, it's just gaslight. Everything is just the gaslight, because the other stuff is not working. That does not stick. So they're going to go with gaslighting. And that is totally ineffective. It is not working. The American people love a success story. The American people, we're not shy about working hard and getting rich, and especially when there is a component of philanthropy that is expected. Most major corporations in the United States have some endowments. Well, and of course, individuals like the ones that they name on PBS. Every time there's a show on PBS, this was brought to you by the so and so foundation and the endowment for the arts and so on and so forth. There's always things like that. We don't need a royal family to have charity. Our charities are just as successful, if not more successful, and there is not a single royal that shows up for those events. At least it wasn't before Harry and Meghan showed up. Now that Harry and Meghan is here, I have to take that back. Now we do have some royals that show up for those events. And when I say they show up, not only do they show up, they show out, and they actually make contributions. They show up, and sometimes they make contributions. And then also there are times when they anonymously make contributions. They don't always take credit. We don't hear about it until the people that they are helping want us to hear about it. We may not hear about it. Like when they had the food truck at the King's Center. How did we find out about that? Well, that was because the King's Center issued a thank you. Now, they didn't have to do that, but they did. And we're grateful, but they didn't have to. So that is one of the ways that we find out about how generous the Sussexes are. It is because people tell us. It's not as though they go out and advertise or anything like that. They do what they're going to do, and that's that. So thank you for your comment. Okay. Oh, okay. Reba Henderson says, I have a close friend who was a Navy SEAL. Camp Pendleton was on my, let me see, Camp Pendleton was on my world as a young child. My father was stationed there as a aeronautical engineer, later moving to Point Magoo? Point Magoo. Harry has visited too. Okay. All right. Well, that's a very cool connection to have. Okay, so let me see. Now I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not sure that I can do this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I just feel like doing it. But I said that I was looking for some video and I found it, so I'm going to share it. Okay. So I don't think there's any sound with this one, but oh Lord, I didn't mean to leave those bars in the middle, but yeah, this was like a little footage that was shared. Okay, now the bars are gone. Oh wait. Oh, was that it? Yeah. So yeah, it's very short, but this is like a little inside view of what was happening. But don't despair. I have another one for you.
SEALs, our combat coxswains, and the veteran community. It addresses both physical and mental issues that have been sustained in many missions and very aggressive and extensive training. Yeah.
Okay, again, I don't think there's any sound with this one either, but okay, at least this one. Oh, is that the same thing? Oh yeah, maybe it is the same thing. But this is a little longer. Let's see.
With the opening of this facility here in San Diego, servicing the West Coast, we're essentially doubling our ability to provide physical and mental fitness to Naval Special Warfare's warriors, to include their veterans. We know this model works. It's been proven on the East Coast, and we're so excited to open up this facility here. So thanks again for joining us.
This evening is about much more than showcasing a beautiful facility. It's an opportunity to share a transformative initiative created by Virginia High Performance and ignited and enhanced by the Navy SEAL Foundation. The Warrior Fitness Program is more than just a gym. It's a place where resilience is forged and where the indomitable spirit of our SEALs can find solace, heal, and grow.
Oh, okay. So I think that was it.
This evening, as we celebrate the grand opening.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that they have a Harry's speech included there, which is unfortunate. But that was just a little glimpse of what happened on the inside. I'm going to look for some other, and if I find it, I will share it with you. But that's just a little glimpse of what happened on the inside. Sarah Turner, thank you so much. Happy Veterans Day to all my brothers and sisters in arms. Thank you very much, and thank you on behalf of all of the veterans, brothers and sisters in arms. Thank you very much. Okay, so there you go. That was a little glimpse of what happened on the inside and what it looks like on the inside. And again, if I find anything else, I will share it with you. Now, moving on to another topic. These are a few still photos that one of the participants in the Not My King Republic protests, as you can see, some very interesting perspectives. There you can see the Jubilee carriage between those signs, and there in the background, you can see the Union Jack in the background, and in the foreground, you can see, of course, their Not My King flag. So just a couple of interesting angles. And then here's an up close. This is what you would have seen. Well, actually, all of this is what you would have seen if you were actually on the ground as a protester. You would have seen this up close. You can see one of the horse guards. What do they call? I forgot what they call those guards, but you can with the steel breastplates and the red thing on their head. Anyway, you can see them riding along with the Jubilee carriage. Yeah, I think that's the Diamond Jubilee carriage. That's the one that's air conditioned. It has electric lighting on the inside and it's on gas pneumatic struts or whatever. Very modern and very comfortable. The only thing that's not modern, of course, is there's horses pulling it, but other than that, it's very modern and comfortable. And here is a flashback to Coronation Day. What a difference. This is Coronation Day when they seized the placards. Now, as we noticed from the other day, the placards were in some collapsible wagons and they pulled them to sight. But here they had rented a truck and they were expecting to distribute them from the truck. Now, there was a lot of backlash against the authorities for seizing their property as well as arresting the members. They had that late night law that they passed, or that 11th hour law against protesting, which really should be more frightening to people, considering that we always value our freedom of speech, and yet at the same time, something like this happens in what is supposed to be an open and free society. Those two things just do not jive together. So, Prince's Trust is renamed the King's Trust, meaning it is likely William or Harry will take over Charles. I'm sorry, is unlikely William and Harry will take over Charles's charity for now. You got to throw Harry in there if you want people to read it, right? As Prince of Wales, Charles set up the Prince's Trust, Prince's Foundation, and PWFC, but organization name have been updated 1 week before his 75th birthday. Now, didn't I not just mention yesterday how ridiculous it is that William hasn't taken over the Prince's Trust? Now that he is the Prince of Wales, wouldn't it be a fine tradition to pass that as well as the Duchy of Cornwall, which he has now? But why wouldn't you pass on the Prince's Trust? Well, there's a good reason for that. People have said that William would run it into the ground, and Charles would hate to see his life's work turned into something that looks like it belongs on the ash heap of history. So he would rather keep it for himself. Maybe William doesn't know how to get those cash for honors, donations, or whatever. Whatever the case may be, Charles is going to keep it. I think it's stupid. And as I said yesterday, I think they should pass it on to the Prince of Wales, somebody who literally has the time, because what else does William do? William has his Earth Flop, which he stole from another place that was called Earthshot, and he has other people running it for him. There's no original thoughts. There is nothing about that is planned or orchestrated by William. He needed something to look like a global statesman, and someone suggested that. And that is the only reason why it exists. William doesn't know anything. He has no intellectual curiosity whatsoever. The only thing that he pursues from one day to the next is the ridiculous and unsuccessful competition with his younger brother. He has nothing. And the man that does nothing is nothing and has nothing. That's William. William has all the money in the world and not enough imagination to know what to do with it. He has a staff of people that he doesn't know how to lead. He's hired someone to dress him. He's hired someone to make him look influential. That is one hollow, empty individual. Hollow, empty, lackluster. If he ever decided to do something on his own, I think things would happen for him. The fact that he has grown up privileged and that he could manage to shake down his grandmother to get an $8 million helicopter or 8 million pound helicopter, that's probably the last time he took initiative to do anything. But there is a total lack of imagination. The only thing he is prepared to do is listen to his staff. They tell him what to do, where to go, how to conduct himself. He doesn't do anything. Anything. A complete failure as a human being, as a prince of the realm, a failure. Yeah, and I take no pleasure in saying that. A 42-year-old waste of potential, waste of time. And when he becomes king, they are going to run circles around him. The courtiers are going to run circles around him. And you know what? Maybe that's exactly what the monarchy needs, is someone who does nothing, has nothing, and certainly will become nothing but a title. Nothing but a title. He is so insulated from the rest of the world. While he has been safely ensconced in Admiral Hall and in the apartment at the Kensington Palace and wherever else he sleeps, I won't get into that. But while he's on vacation, while he's bike riding with his kids and such, his brother traveled the world. And at the very same age, his father traveled the world. Charles has long-standing connections with people. Charles speaks several languages, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He wanted to be prepared. That is an intellectual curiosity. William, not so much. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't do anything. Period. And the only reason why I'm frustrated is because of the way they constantly attack the Sussexes. I have to point this out because the alternative to their narrative should be known. It should be known. William doesn't do anything but glance over to his brother to see what he's doing, and then he wants to copy it. But he just doesn't have the talent or the ability to do anything for himself. Nothing. And the staff responds in kind. They tell him what he wants to hear. Nothing more and nothing less. They tell him what he wants to hear. And we could see what the results have been, right? Right. Okay, I got that off my chest. Whew! I feel 100 pounds lighter. Do you know that? I got that off my chest. I feel better. I am available for dancing in the streets. The men in gray suits are going to become more empowered when he becomes king because he's so weak. And that is scary. Coco, it is. It is scary. It is scary. And I really, really feel sorry for the tax-paying public, the subjects. I feel sorry for the subjects because they have to endure that. Sarah Turner, so happy to see Church Nelly. Life is a little dull without our church. Amen to that. Thank you so much for the comment. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the comment. Okay. I almost let that slip by. I don't know what I was doing. Oh, I know. I was dragging William. I was dragging William. Yeah, he was expecting Harry to do all the work, and he wasn't expecting Harry to leave. always glancing over his shoulder, expecting to see Harry there. As the Prince of Wales, Charles set up the youth charity, the Prince's Trust, the Prince's Foundation, which promotes and builds environment, heritage, culture, and education projects. And the grant giving Prince of Wales Charitable Fund. Oh, is that what that means? Prince of Wales Charitable Fund. PWCF. Got it. But 14 months after he became monarch, and in a week ahead of his 75th royal, officials announced that the organization's name has been updated to become the King's Trust, the King's Foundation, and the King Charles III Charitable Fund. The palace said the King's long-standing charities had been rebranded in recognition of his accession to the throne. The trust helps young people ages 11 to 30 get into jobs, education, and training. And its beneficiaries have included The Wire and Luther actor Idris Elba, who used his £1,500 grant to help. His £1,500 grant from it to help start his career. Charles once spoke of his hope his two sons, William and Harry, now Prince of Wales and Duke of Sussex, would take over the Prince's Trust, which he something with his. Oh, yeah. I know what it is. Hold on a second. Got it. Oh, I don't got it. Well, anyway, it was said that he started the Prince's Trust. I think I skipped that part of it. But yeah. Oh, there it is at the top. William and Harry, now Prince of Wales and Duke of Sussex, would take over the Prince's Trust, which he set up with his £7,400 Navy severance pay in 1976. So before those bags of Folsham and Walsham, whatever bags of money, before the cash for honors and wherever else the money comes from, Charles started his trust with his pension or severance pay, that is, from the Navy, from the Royal Navy. And he was a young man when that happened. That was 1976, right? Harry started the Centibale, and of course, by age, 27 was it? He started the Invictus Foundation. Okay, so in his teens and in his 20s, Harry, his life's work, part of his life's work, Centibale and the Invictus Foundation. And what has William done? What has William done? The very least, the absolute least of what was possible. He hasn't learned a second language. He hasn't started a long-term foundation or charitable anything. He has his earth flop. Oh, that's the one I'm looking for. Something that is so exciting that a family on their way to Waitrose was the only crowd that gathered for the very first earth shot. Just that little family that you see in the background, they were greatly outnumbered by photographers, reporters, and of course the attendees. Other than that, there is no one out there but them and the Royal Protection Officers. They have that gate set up just in case there's a crowd of people, throngs of people, scores of people pushing and shoving to get a glimpse of this spectacle. And what did they get? A family of 4 on their way to Waitrose. That's it. Nothing more and a whole lot less. Nothing more and a whole lot less. That was the crowd waiting to see William at his earth flop. And in spite of that, he thought that the only asset that he has which of course is Kate, that Kate should not go to Singapore with him. Huh? Kate might get in the way. Kate might overstep the mark or outshine me. She can't go to Singapore. Well, she didn't go. But what was left, well, as you can see, he was overshadowed by his father going to Kenya, which was a big dud, and overshadowed greatly by the Sussexes, just being the Sussexes.
Yeah, I've been visiting around today. I've been in Belfast this morning.
Now, since I'm building a case, let me go back and share this with you. What is William wearing in Scotland? What is he wearing in Scotland? Now, the gentleman with him, someone who obviously lives life steeped in tradition, is wearing his kilt. And William, the future king of Scotland, is not. He refuses. He refused to wear the kilt. William, who is the Prince of Wales, refused to learn Welsh, right? Charles speaks Welsh. Charles speaks German. Charles speaks French. Charles, who I have dragged from here to kingdom come. Charles, Philip, Arthur, George, Mountbatten-Windsor, speaks at least 4 languages that I know of: English, Welsh, German, French. The Queen was fluent in French and possibly German. His father, Philip, fluent in French and German and probably Greek. And William, nothing. Nothing. Do you hear me? Nothing. He refuses to wear the kilt. He refuses to learn a second language. And he's the heir to the throne. If there was anything that they could count on in that family, and that is that the heir to the throne. Let me tell you something. Queen Elizabeth I, the founder of the transatlantic slave trade, Queen Elizabeth I was fluent in French, among other languages. William, the heir to the throne, nothing. And yet you have these derangers, these royalists, uplifting and celebrating William, who knows nothing, who does nothing, is capable of nothing. He does the very least. He does whatever he chooses to do and nothing more. As I said, no intellectual curiosity, no sense of urgency, very little sense of duty. He does the very least because he's never been challenged. His father can't say anything to him. His grandmother couldn't do anything with him. I was thinking about it the other day. How many times have I seen the Queen Elizabeth II? How many times have I seen her on an outing with William? I don't know that I've ever seen the two of them alone together. Was she afraid of him? Nothing. I don't recognize any occasion where I've seen the two of them alone together. Now, Charles was constantly in the presence of his mother on official duty. William, never. William with his father, never. William doesn't do anything with his father, the very least. And yet, in the next 10, 20 years, he is going to inherit the throne, and he doesn't even speak a second language. And this is someone who is supposedly college educated and doesn't speak a second language, and he's going to be the king. He's going to be the king. He's had 42 years to learn Welsh or French or German or nothing. He chose nothing. William makes his sales pitch for king. William vows to go a step further than his family and actually bring change to good causes rather than spreading yourself too thin. You know what, y'all? I just almost dropped the F-bomb. I almost dropped the F-bomb. How in the Frappuccino is it possible that the man who does absolutely nothing, how do you spread yourself too thin? How? You don't do anything as it is. You're not doing anything. As royal experts claim, his words question what the royals actually achieve. Prince of Wales visit McRitchie's nature reserve with Singapore Deputy Prime Minister. Says he wants to do more than just be a patron when campaigning for causes. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Who tells him or takes instruction from him to write such stupid stuff and share it? They hit the send button. When they should delete, they hit send. Out of all the idiotic stuff that has come out of his mouth over the years, he just threw his father under the bus. This is the same William that was going to end homelessness, that wants to get rid of the ivory, that wants to bring peace to the Middle East, who wants to end hunger and thirst and everything else. That's the same William who says that he does that he doesn't want to spread himself too thin. How is that possible? He wants to end violence. Was that before or after the police attacked those women that were at the memorial for Sarah Everhart? Was that before or after? Is that when he was trying to end violence? He better start with the Met Police. He better start with the Met Police. Or how about your sister-in-law? How about how about her? You do nothing to ease the racism against her. I would say that's violent, but no, nothing. When someone compared his nephew to a chimpanzee, what did he do? Nothing. Although he did say something about the football players, but of course, being the president of the patron of the football, president of the football, whatever, You're supposed to say something. It wasn't that he was going to do anything like everything else. He just said something. And this is the man that's afraid that he's spreading himself too thin, as if. Now, at the top, you can see a very Prince Harry inspired photo. There's Prince William staring into an empty hall. Now, I think the desired effect was to have the Princess of Wales to sit in the audience and critique his abilities, right? Or at least be there to morally support him. But oh, that's impossible because she wasn't allowed to come. And then take a look at the other two photos. There's Harry on the stage staring into an empty hall, save for the Duchess of Sussex. Or how about Australia? There he is at that concert venue, that outdoor amphitheater or whatever, and there's the Duchess of Sussex. Now, that is the spirit in which William took that photo, but the only thing is there's nobody there for him. And notice how strategic that spotlight is, either shining at the camera or shining off of his head. I can't really decide which is which. But that is inspired by his brother. All of this is for the sake of his brother, because of his brother. That is the only reason why he's in Singapore, so that he can portray himself as a statesman. Although I think that they should hold the event in the United Kingdom only. You know, they have the Nobel Peace Prize in what, Norway, Sweden? They have that in Scandinavia. They don't move it anyplace else that I'm aware of. The Earth Flop should stay in the UK where people could use the jobs, right? London is a metropolitan international city, a place of high finance, a place that sees what, some 18, 19 million tourists a year. Why not have it there? But instead, to try to be more like his brother, he wants to go to Singapore, of all places. This has got to stop. This cannot be healthy for the institution. This cannot be healthy for William. This obsession. And people are too afraid to say enough is enough. Prince William could have chosen his words better when he vowed to go further than other members of the royal family on climate change. Royal expert tells Palace Confidential. Richard Kay told Palace Confidential what Prince of Wales' remarks means for the monarchy. It means that he's a loose cannon. It means that he needs to be reined in. But apparently, everybody's afraid to say something to him. Everybody. William wants to be king about as much as Harry wants to be king. But now he's got to do it because that's the only way that he's going to be able to outshine his brother. But the problem with that is Harry's worked for where he is today. Harry has worked for the right to sit in the bleachers with the soon to be, or well, currently the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the defense minister for Germany. He's earned that. He's earned his right to be celebrated by the American military and militaries all over the world. And also, let us not forget his contribution with Centabale, with Halo Trust. He's earned that. There are people right now that are benefiting from Harry's involvement with the pursuit of mental health and well-being. Lots of people that are being helped because of him. And to be fair, William has tried and has made appearances, has participated, but there's no there. If he ever sat and had to articulate exactly what it is that needs to be done, what is it he actually is doing, he could not do it. It's all scripted. Nothing's off the cuff. When Harry did the armchair, whatever that thing was, when he did to me, you can't see. He was absolutely brilliant. When he did that Obama thing with what's her name, Melanie, what's her name, Hobson, he was absolutely brilliant. He knows when to shut up, and he knows when to speak out. When he did that thing with Melody, am I saying that right? When he did that thing with her and those other young people were on the stage, Harry retreated to the background in the situation. He didn't try to overtalk them. He gave them their moment because it wasn't about him. It was about them. And he was intelligent enough to recognize what his role was at that time. He has enough self-awareness to know no matter how much pain and suffering I have, I was still born into a very privileged life. And therefore, I need to listen closer to people that don't have the privileges that I've had. That's how intelligent he is. He knows when to speak up and he knows when to shut up. Can't say the same thing for some of the other people in that family. Now, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. If you know, you know. Does Meghan do anything besides dance at concerts? The problem Harry and Meghan have is they give the media nothing to report but this stuff. Their accomplishments are so minimal and inconsequential that this is what gets traction. If they concentrate on career over obvious attention-seeking activities, do you hear any gas right now? I think someone just, I think I just saw the flicker of a gas light. Yeah, I just saw the gas light flicker. They might be bankable. We see far too much of this stuff and far too little substance. Why would they hire Meghan when she'd rather dance at a concert than produce a series or podcast? Answer, wouldn't you? I mean, you wouldn't. You can play hard when you work hard. Oh, girl. This is what may possibly be a white supremacist. This is someone I've seen this person's resume. So it's been alleged that she may have tendencies of being a white supremacist. It is said that, and also if you saw her resume, you would see the type of people that she's interviewed. And this is a very serious person, by the way. This is not just a typical grifter. This is someone who is very well educated and knows the impact of those words. They know how to throw subliminal cues into their verbiage to ensure the maximum amount of damage without looking overbearing and cruel and mean-spirited to the beholder. That is, if it's someone who, just like her, is a manipulator. So, and if you know, I thank you not to say the name. Okay, I thank you not to say the name. But yeah, this is an incredible manipulator. Someone who is very skilled. I mean, if you just look at that's some brilliant writing, by the way. That's brilliant. It says so much with so few words. So much with so few words. And yet they make the point. So yeah, that's all I can say. This is a very skilled and very tenacious adversary. Yeah, well, I wouldn't exactly say fool, because this is somebody who is living off of other people's dime and traveling the world and having quite a time with it, having quite a time at other people's expense, at the emotional expense of anybody who cares for the Sussexes, and dare I say, but probably not. Maybe the Sussexes don't even know this person exists, but they're very good at what they do. They don't have a whole lot of followers considering, but they're very good at what they do. So for everything that Meghan has accomplished in life, this person is trying to reduce with a couple of paragraphs. For everything that I've just said about Prince Harry, this person is trying to undo that in the hearts and minds of people that should know better, but they choose hate over love. But instead, they celebrate two of the laziest people that have ever drawn a breath: Workshire Will and Duchess Doolittle. That's what they used to call them. Now you hear people talk about how hard William works and how much William works. A complete difference, totally opposite of just 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Did Kate and Wills have their work cut out as matchmakers for newly divorced Thomas Van Shrub, whatever his name, Shabenzi, and his old flame? A family day out, Kate and William and Harry are among 3 generations of royals at Commonwealth Day service, the year of the Queen's 90th birthday. Well, yeah, they were all there that year, but 2017, William was nowhere to be found. That was when Piers Morgan says, "Chill out, Wills. You and Kate are getting just a bit too big for your skis, or ski boots, rather." Well, how about that? William and Kate borrowed Duke's of Westminster's private jet to fly to a secret ski break at 5-star, what is that? Whatever that place is, resort. Well, Wills has worked 20 hours a week and done 3 royal engagements this year. And let me see, that was the month of March. William, by March of 2016, yeah, by March of 2016, William had worked 20 hours, and had done 3 engagements. That was the William of 2016. I don't know that he's working much more than that nowadays, but to be fair, in the last year, he has worked a lot. By William standards, not by, real working class people, but by William standards. Okay, let me move on to this. Now, I promised you class. what is class? I kept thinking about this, and I kept thinking about it and thinking about it. And this just really doesn't sit right with me. Kate wearing what appears to be skinny jeans or tights or some type of thermal pants of some sort, very form fitting. Well, when I saw, I guess, more of the video, then it really took a turn. It was one thing when I saw Kate out in the field. It was a whole nother thing when I saw the soldiers in formation and the mother of the future king is prancing around in skinny jeans or tights. They look like tights. But whatever they are, I can tell you what they're not, and that's proper. But whatever they are, I have to tell you, only she could get away with this. You understand what I'm saying? Only she could get away with this. If this was anybody else in the family, they couldn't get away with it. But because it is Catherine the Great, it's okay. It's okay. No, it's not okay. It is not okay. But she gets away with it. William gets away with all of his flying about and jet setting. Charles gets away with all of his flying about and jet setting, all this private helicopter use, when even the Queen took a train on occasion, but they don't, and they won't. I don't think you will ever see them in a train again unless they're using it for their vanity. You will never see them in that train. And I'm not talking about the royal train. I'm talking about taking the regular commuter train like the Queen would do on occasion. I think she used to take it to Sandringham on occasion. But don't expect to see the rest of that family do it. Don't expect to see them do it. Now, let me see. Okay. Take a look at this. It's kind of hard to take something like this serious, isn't it? Is this because William was out of the country? What is this about? What is this? What is going on here? That is the mother of a future king and not a young girl. She's 42 years old. You know, when I just saw the hand jive and stuff, the jazz hands, I thought it was pretty bad. Is this what is it? Let me see. It is very disrespectful to the monarchy to wear those tight pants in front of men in uniform. How strange to see this attention-seeking exercise while William is away saving the planet. I don't understand what makes this provocative behavior classy. Kate is a 42-year-old mother of the future king, not a sorority sister. It's time to grow up and put away childish things. This makes me very sad. The House of Windsor deserves better than Kate Middleton and her family. You know who wrote that? I did. I went to the comment section where I found this video and I wrote that. Because everything that I saw in the comment section was much better than that other Duchess. Now, this is class. She never lets you down. Now, this is what I call royal. I'm not kidding, y'all. I'm not kidding. There were several people who said, now this is class. Now that's classy. That's classy. And I started thinking, where have I heard that before? Where have I heard that before? And let us not forget how people have dragged Meghan for having that one shoulder out, even though the Queen has wore her shoulders out. Princess Diana has wore her shoulder out. But yet when Meghan did it, it was something wrong with it. Or how about this constant reference to Meghan as the yacht girl? When the Daily Mail said, forging of a princess, how generations of steely social climbing matriarchs shaped Kate Middleton's character. I think they were trying to be funny, actually. I think that was sarcasm. The corporate clients loved her, especially the way she always seemed to be showing off her slender legs in tight blue shorts as she served gin and tonic and lunch. She was working as a deckhand on a 72-foot sailing boat in the Solent, looking after important clients for mighty companies such as Barclays, BT, Nokia, Toshiba, and Volkswagen. The year was 2001, and everyone referred to the tall girl, the tall, slim girl, earning 40 pounds a day as beautiful Kate, right? Yulibi, I'm getting there. Stay with me. I'm getting there. Now, to be fair, Meghan did wear short shorts at the Invictus Games. But I want you to notice that behind her are athletes wearing spandex at the Invictus Games. They didn't go and put on their track suits or warm-up suits or anything like that. This was an outing, a summer outing or early fall outing. And so she wore short shorts. I don't believe that Meghan knew that she was going to be called upon, because I saw the video where she handed over her purse and I think her cell phone to an assistant. It was all very last minute. And then I saw her receive instructions from someone in uniform. So I don't even suspect she knew that that was on the schedule for the day, but it happened. Okay, it happened. Harry was also called upon to hand out medals. Okay, not a surprise. It did happen. I don't suspect she knew that was coming, but it happened, and she's wearing short shorts. But she's not the mother of the future king. She's not out on military drills as some patron of the armed forces. There is no way in the world that Kate would have done this if the Queen was still alive. That would not have happened. It took some time to get her out of those foolish notions, but she did. Now she's back. And I think this only happened because William went to Singapore without her. Okay? So, yes, to be fair, Meghan did wear short shorts at the Invictus game. Now, the future queen, the mother of a future king, has had a long-standing problem with wearing proper attire. This was while the queen was still alive. You know you're in the big city. You've been around London all your life, back and forth to London, shopping in London. You know what's possible. And even if you weren't in London, you've been on an airfield before. You've been a lot of places. You have to know that this was going to happen. But the very insecure, mute woman depends on those legs to carry the day. That is her big asset. And you would think that someone who spent a lot of money and a lot of effort to get their daughter in that situation, in that high position in life, as the future queen and mother of a king, you would think that they would have taken her aside and said, you know what? I know you like to show off your legs. I like to show off mine too. But then I had to think to myself, not that mother, not that mother. She won't be the one to do it. And since William doesn't seem to have much of a relationship with the queen at the time, or didn't have much of a relationship, a working relationship, should I say, where he was willing to take instructions from anybody who wasn't a subordinate of his, I don't think anybody could say anything to him. So they would brief in the newspapers, as they often would do with Will and Kate. They had to brief to shame them into doing work. And that took a long time. So, yeah, I think it is. I think it's very sad. It's very sad. It shows someone who is very insecure, who believes that they have to use their appearance, to get people to notice them, not for being smart or capable, not for being prepared and able-bodied, but just showing up and throwing your hair extensions, the very least, the very least. And then let me go back to this again. I thought to myself, well, maybe I shouldn't say these things. But then every day we're inundated with this. Every day. Every day. Kate good, Meghan bad. William good, Harry's bad. So I said, nah, I'll say something. So I'm saying something. I'm saying a lot. I have plenty to get off my chest. And I do thank you for going on this pursuit with me, but I just think it's fair. I just think it's fair. They went on and on and on about the brown girl in her short shorts at a sporting event, right? Where she was followed by grown men in spandex. Where she was followed by grown, sweaty men in spandex. Not on an official engagement for the monarchy. And how about this one? Look at the disgust, the disdain that the queen has on her face right there as she realizes this is the future queen and the mother of a future monarch, and she don't have sense enough to put some clothes on. And she's sitting right there with the head of the Church of England, with the supreme governor of the Church of England, dressed like some type of, oh, dare I say it, some third world flight attendant. dressed like some third world flight attendant. And there she is again, in front of men in uniform, men that are there to uphold the very dignity of the national defense. And there's Kate doing her best Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, I got plenty to say. There she is doing her best Marilyn Monroe. The future queen and mother of a future sovereign, a future head of the church. And that is totally lost on her. It obviously lost on her mother. And even worse, lost on her husband, who is the future head of the church, the father of a sovereign himself someday, and he has nothing to say about it. But remember, the queen, who was 96 years old and likely suffering from cancer or some other illness, her life was cut short by the grandson she adored and the granddaughter-in-law that she looked to as the future of the Commonwealth. She looked to Harry and Meghan as the future of the Commonwealth, the only thing that would save the Commonwealth, but they were driven out of the country because of her son and her grandson, both heirs to the throne at the time. Kate put on clothes that day and walked out of Kensington Palace or Anmore Hall or wherever she was. She got dressed. She had every opportunity in the world to put something decent and proper on. And that's what she chose. Surely you have to know that the queen would protect her modesty by using a blanket while driving around in her state Bentley. She goes to Balmoral. She brings a blanket to protect her dignity. Not Kate. She's not there to protect the queen's dignity, her dignity, the country's dignity. Nay. And let's remember, when Kate got married, was she 29, 30 years old at the time? 31? She wasn't a kid. She wasn't a kid anymore. She wasn't in college. She's long past college. She's about 30 years old. This is a 30-year-old woman who's never worked anywhere, never done anything, and certainly never achieved anything. Another big fat nothing. Two gigantic nothings and nobodies with the charisma of Melba toast. So all they have to fall back on is incandescent rage and obsession with their brother, or hair extensions and short skirts. That's what they have. Anything else? Nothing. The staff will take care of it. They always do. So when I said, what does this remind me of? This is what it reminds me of. When Michelle Obama came to the White House, it was a wonderful change of pace, right? And then all of that was eroded over time because of Donald Trump and his 5-year assault on the Obamas, not to mention the right wing that was out for blood from day one. But I remember that same notion of class. When Melania Trump showed up, finally, class. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, well, we finally got some class in the White House. Oh, at last. some class. And once again, the woman of color, the Black woman, with a double Ivy League degree. Two parents that worked extremely hard to make sure she and her brother received a good education. You have a first lady, college educated, Jacqueline Kennedy. Lady Bird Johnson, I don't know about her. And of course, Rosalind Carter. I don't know her educational status, but she was pretty bright. Nancy Reagan, actress, but then again, if it wasn't for her, I don't think Ronald Reagan would have been president. College educated, master's degree, I think, in as a librarian. You have what's her name? Laura Bush. And then, of course, with her double Ivy League degree, and I know who's missing from this. Hillary Clinton, Ivy League educated, right? Hillary Clinton. And then you have Melania. Now, I have speculated about how they met, her and Dunode, as she referred to Trump. Dunode, her and Dunode, I think they met in one of them houses, but yeah. Let me see here. Thank you, Baron, for reminding us that the future of the monarchy is in tatters with Lazy William and Tony King. Another reason to make Australia a republic, we need to ditch all those useless parasites. Hear, hear. Hear, hear. So, let me see. Oh, Lord, I'm afraid, but here goes. Yes, Melania. Okay. Okay, this ain't so bad. Yet they called her elegant and classy. These races are tone deaf, delusional. Yes, absolutely. That's where I heard it before, Black Queen. That is where I heard it before. But I promise you, where I saw that video, I must have saw classy about at least 10 times. Maybe 50 comments. It was there about 10 times. How classy she was. And that's not the first time that they used that term classy in comparison to. Now, contrary to reports, no pension for Obama's mother-in-law. A story published by satire website said Marion Robinson, Michelle Obama's mother, had earned a DH 587680 lifetime pension, something that has been relayed by a number of other sites despite being false. Now, if you don't know what this is about, while the Obamas was in the White House, there was a rumor, there was accusations made by several websites that Michelle Obama's mother was upset because as grandmother to the first family, that she had shared in babysitting Sasha and Malia, and that she was entitled to some type of payment from the federal government. And people believed it. They thought it was true. They thought that this Black woman in the White House was trying to grift the federal government, that she was trying to demand something she was not entitled to. And so what was supposed to be a joke, although I don't believe it was a joke, I think they know what they were doing, turned into something that was used to fundraise by the Republican Party. And because it was a Black woman, they were highly upset. They were so angry. But we all know that if that was Melania Trump's mother in the White House, they would probably send part of their Social Security check to help ensure that Melania was able to pay her mother for taking care of her child. They wouldn't have questioned it. There would have been no anger. None of that would have happened. Wellesley's Yale. Wellesley College, Yale University, Ivy League education. Princeton and Harvard, both Ivy League. The only first lady to have a double Ivy League education, and maybe only the second first lady to have an Ivy League education. And then there's Melania, dropped out of college in her first year, then lied about it and pretended she graduated. And then without ceremony, let me add to that, without ceremony, her website took down the claim that she had a college degree in architecture. And if that wasn't enough, you know what else they took down? The entire website. The whole thing disappeared. Overnight. When people asked the question, it disappeared. And I'll tell you another big lie. Melania could speak 5 languages. Melania could speak 5 languages. Melania struggles with English and she speaks Slovenian, right? And nothing else. When she went to France, they had an interpreter. The only thing she said to the French school kids was, "Hi, my name is Melania." Everything else, they used an interpreter. But remember, the classy first lady was supposed to be fluent in 5 languages. And the truth is, she's not. Someone made a video that debunked the idea that she was fluent in anything but Slovenian and conversational in English. But she's classy, y'all. That's one classy lady. Yeah, she's so classy that I had to obscure her photos. And mind you, there's nothing wrong with the photos that she took, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. But that is the only first lady of the United States that we've ever had access to seeing her naked body. I'll just say that. That's the only one in history. And only the second first lady that wasn't born in this country. So whatever you think of Michelle Obama or Laura Bush or Hillary Clinton or Barbara Bush or Rosalind Carter or Pat Nixon or Lady Bird Johnson or Jacqueline Kennedy or Bess Truman or Eleanor Roosevelt. Ooh, how's that? I'm naming them backwards. Whatever you think about them, whatever you think of their politics, at least they had a certain level of, I miss Nancy Reagan. At least they had a certain level of class and decorum. We were not embarrassed to have any of them represent this country until we got to Melania. And then about maybe 39 million people thought she was classy. Yeah. About 39 million registered voters thought she was classy. Yeah. Because she showed up white for the job. So that instantly made her classy. Doesn't matter who preceded her in the White House. That doesn't matter. She's a classy first lady. And then when Dr. Jill Biden got to the White House with her doctor's degree, what did the Republicans say? She's not a real doctor. She's not a real doctor. They tried to gaslight us about Jill Biden, who wasn't classy as, I almost said something, who wasn't classy as Melania Trump. Dr. Jill Biden. There was actually some of those Republicans from the Republican think tank that was trying to create a anger and backlash against Jill Biden for having a proper education and being a working woman while serving as the vice president's wife. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Now, take a look at that. First lady, lawyer, graduate of Princeton University and Harvard Law School, mother, fourth first lady to have postgraduate degree. Worked Sidley and Austin law firm. Second first lady that was an attorney. Hillary Clinton being first, of course. First African-American first lady. Associate Dean of Student Services at the University of Chicago and the Vice President for Community and External Affairs at the University of Chicago Medical Center, right? Served on the board of Treehouse Food, Chicago Council on Global Affairs. And of course, she headed up the Let's Move campaign in the White House. And then there's Melania Trump with her big fat resume, you know, the classy first lady. First lady, fashion model, mother, second foreign-born first lady. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. And then there's Dunod, President of the United States, economics degree, Wharton School of University of Pennsylvania, Wharton School of Finance or Business, whatever. Father, businessman, television personality. Okay. Oh, you know what? I left out real estate developer. Yeah, real estate developer. Slumlord. Left that out too. And then there's Barack Obama, President of the United States, lawyer, Illinois State Senator, United States Senator, graduate of Columbia University, Harvard Law School, community organizer in Chicago, civil rights attorney, and professor of constitutional law, University of Chicago. Father, Nobel Peace Prize winner, Profile of Courage Award, first African-American president, second African-American United States Senator since Reconstruction, editor of the Harvard Law Review, author, first United States president to address the British Parliament, and 25th of the 44th presidents to have been a lawyer. Yes, there have been 25, and I think Biden may also have a law degree. But before Obama, there were 24 presidents that had a law degree. So there you have it. There you have it. You could see that in spite of those incredibly huge resumes, when Melania Trump got to the White House, people began to yell, finally, some class. I'm still here. I just had to let that sink in. Finally, some class. So when I say I've heard it before, I've heard it before. A 42-year-old woman, Jacqueline Kennedy wasn't 40 years old in the White House. Jacqueline Kennedy was probably one of the younger first ladies. She was in her 30s in the White House. Jacqueline Kennedy had far more class than Kate Middleton. Okay? And yet, we're constantly subjected to this reference to her working on a yacht. What was that? The Z-rated actress. All of those things. She showed up with $5 million to her name, having successfully worked on a television series, which most people that call themselves actors will never do. She's partnered with a department store. She's been, what do you call it? She had her social media, her Instagram, 3 million followers, right? The clothing line that, and of course, all the philanthropy. But none of that means anything because someone who never worked, someone who's supposed to have education, but we can't tell, just showed up. And that's how pernicious racism is. That's the worst part of racism, that in spite of your abilities, in spite of your education and your work ethic, you have someone like a Kate show up and they're deemed classy. You have someone like Melania show up and they swear she's classy. But the first thing they'll tell you, well, it has nothing to do with her race. I just don't like her. Bottom line, there are winners and losers in this world, right? And between those two, we all know who the winner is, and it's not William. Prince and Princess of Wales' U.S. trip to present the Earthshot Prize will not be in the shadow of Harry and Meghan's source claims. Yes, it will. The U.S. visit, the royal couple's first since Meghan's, whatever that is, and Harry left their roles as senior royals and moved to California. Yeah, that's what it says. Comes ahead of two major projects set to be launched by the Sussexes. They include the couple's Netflix documentary, which is expected to air within weeks, and the launch of the Prince's autobiography in January. But according to the Telegraph, citing a Foreign Office source, while the palace team is highly cognizant of Meghan and Harry, they are not scared of their shadow on this. The fact that they even have to bring it up means what? Yeah, you're scared, and as well you should have been. And yes, the trip to Boston was a disaster. It was a disaster. Remember when they got to Boston and that black clergy woman had called them out on the, what was it, the slave trade? Was that what she called them out for? Was it the slave trade? That didn't go well. The Kennedy that they lined up to meet them faked them out the first night. John Kerry faked them out the first night. Didn't go so well. And of course, the attitude of most people in Boston was pretty blasé. When they went to a basketball game, they got booed. And then a couple of players seemed to show little or no interest in their presence. They were trying to get them all whipped up into excitement. And what happened? What was that he said? Joseph, Mary, and Jesus? That's the only royal family I pay attention to. Yeah. So this is how Boston looked. This is how their trip to America looked. You had William and Kate sitting there drinking their tea. And there was Harry and Meghan having champagne taste and caviar dreams all the way from Montecito, California. I love this illustration, by the way. I don't know what that's supposed to be in the kitchen back there, but there's a champagne taste and caviar dreams. Oh boy. Wow, we've been on for almost 3 hours. I told you all I had a lot to get to. Thank you for everyone who's staying. I see a few people that ditched me already. Let me see here. Perhaps let's see, Myrna Roberts say, perhaps Joe Biden had attained a PhD. The tier of education is bachelor's degree, then master's or MBA. Further higher is PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. Yeah, well, all I know is she has a doctor in education. She's Dr. Jill Biden, and they were livid. The some of those Republicans, they just did not want to take away from that classy lady that was there before her. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you all for staying. I got a whole lot off my chest, but when I thought about that, when I saw them say classy, I started building a case. I had to build a case when I saw them mentioning classy, and unlike that other princess or other duchess or whatever they said, I just couldn't believe it. I'm just like, who in the F is y'all talking about? I know y'all ain't talking about Meghan. I know you all are not talking about Meghan. And then I thought about it. I say, they talking about Meghan. And that was when I got outraged. And after that, I started unpacking my adjectives one after the other. I was like, no, they didn't. But they did. Let me see here. I'm going to read some of the comments to you. Oh, they really got to me with this. Let me see. She really is very classy and very admirable. It is great to see at least one of the brothers chose wisely. Okay, one more. Okay, one more. Okay, let me see. Well, okay, right here. As a veteran who knows how important it is to see you, what is that? CIC is wonderful. To see our wonderful Princess of Wales giving her all. As someone who used to wear uniform, it's great to see she worn her hair up while the headdress, while in her headdress, I guess they meant the helmet or whatever. Shame Prince Harry don't stick to the rules on his didn't stick to the rules on his wedding day. A full beard in number one dress is a no-no unless religious grounds. Princess Catherine makes me proud to be, it gets cut off for some reason. Oh, well, whatever. Princess Catherine is willing to try anything for the monarchy. She's brave and dedicated. No wonder William loves her so dearly. Classy lady. I'm telling you all, I saw classy I don't know how many times. I find Princess Catherine to be admirable and inspirational because not only does she do these royal engagements, but she takes them seriously and is interested and eager to learn about her endeavors. Full camo, Kate looks amazing. Well, she's not in full camo, though, is she? Well, I do see camo, but not full camo. Kate is always right. Kate is always right in everything she does. UK people can be proud of her. What a lady. God bless them all. Oh, here's one. One simple word describes Kate. Class. I'm telling you all, I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. Let me see here. Never a dull moment for Princess Catherine, adding sparkle to the day of her service host. Full camouflage and still looks fantastic. That is incredible. But she's not in full camouflage, is she? Real woman, real wife, and mother, the best. Princess Catherine is so classy and beautiful. Prince William is a lucky man to have her, and the monarchy is lucky to have her. Prince William definitely chose wisely where the other one did not. Princess Catherine is a gem. One more? Let me do one more. Catherine is such a great sport. I bet everyone she meets loves her. I love that she took this visit seriously too, not like it was a lark, okay? She is a sharp cookie, plus she's drop dead gorgeous even in camouflage battle fatigues. What a great boost for those soldiers. Well, now we're on the same page. That is a boost for the soldiers. A great representative for the crown. Princess Catherine will make a great queen consort. Princess looks warrior. Our princess is a real soldier in any circumstance. Wow, so classy, so down to earth, so cool. Even asked permission before feeding the horse. So cool. Okay, I'm done with that. Wow. Like I said, they kept throwing that word classy around. And I can only take that to mean even the camouflage even in camouflage, she looks classy. Queen Catherine, she is absolutely beautiful, no matter what she wears. So classy. Yeah. From USA, complete class. Well done. Perfect princess. She's so fab. Sir is classy and elegant. That's what it says. Sir is classy and elegant. Okay, so I shared that with you guys. I told you. I wasn't going to come over here and read these comments. And then, of course, there was the comment that I made, which reads, very disrespectful to the monarchy to wear those tight pants in front of men in uniform. How strange to see this attention-seeking exercise while William is away saving the planet. I don't understand what makes this provocative behavior classy. Kate is a 42-year-old mother of the future king, not a sorority girl. It's time to grow up and put away childish things. This makes me very sad for the monarchy. Okay, so there you go. I think they got the message. What do you say? I think they got the message. All right, you all, I wish I could say I was done, but I'm not. Why Charles is still in great pain over Harry. King won't close the door to his youngest son, but is angry at anguish Prince cause late queen. But is angry at anguish Prince cause late queen and unhappy at unhappy at his criticism of Camilla as Portrait to mark Monarch's 75th birthday is released. Signed, Lord Nappyhead. Now you know why they wrote this. The reason why they put this headline out there is because Harry has won the right to continue that lawsuit. That's why they wrote this. That's why they say why Charles is still in great pain over Harry. That's not Charles in pain. That's Lord Nappyhead in pain. King won't close door to his youngest son, but is angry at anguish Prince caused late Queen and unhappy at his criticism of Camilla. Harry wasn't the one who went to what do you call that place? Windsor Castle. And then a day or two later, the Queen was being watched because they thought she had the global pandemic. That wasn't Harry that was there before that outbreak, that so-called outbreak at Windsor Castle happened. I wonder who was there. Charles. Charles. I wonder who may have been around the Queen before she got sick. Charles. Oh, excuse me, my allergies. Yeah, I wonder who may have been in her Majesty's company, someone who themselves may have, well, I'm sorry, not may have, was reportedly stricken for the second or third time while they know that their mother, if it was them, was terminally ill or gravely ill, but they showed up anyway. Sick. Okay. It wasn't Harry and Meghan that cost the Queen 12 million pounds that went to somebody they never met for something that they didn't do. That wasn't Harry and Meghan, right? That wasn't Harry and Meghan that thought it was a sheik from the Middle East, and then they set up their bad mouth in the royal family and making fun of the Queen, and they came to the royal family penniless. That wasn't Meghan. That was one of those people, right? Huh. Right. Let me see. Who else? Am I missing anyone? Oh, yeah. That wasn't Meghan that went out on official duty with the Queen wearing something that left little to the imagination. That wasn't Meghan. That wasn't Meghan, whose family is now broke, right? And got people shaming them in Buckleberry. Wasn't Meghan. Certainly wasn't Meghan. So if it wasn't Meghan, if it wasn't Harry, then who was it? Right? That wasn't Meghan or Harry that was caught with a foot in somebody's mouth. Right? That wasn't Meghan. That wasn't Harry. They weren't the one. They didn't have anything to do with burning down a castle. They wasn't spending their spare time with Penny Natchbull. None of that stuff Harry and Meghan is guilty of. None of it. If anything, Harry saved Jamaica from becoming from leaving the Commonwealth or getting rid of the Queen or whatever. That was Harry that did that. So I'm just giving a few things that Harry and Meghan did not do. The reason why they wrote this headline is because they're upset because Harry is winning against them. That's why they wrote this. That's why they wrote it. And of course, Lord Nappyhead, the racially ambiguous owner of the Daily Mail, is probably a little pissed right now. So it wasn't limited to just this one article. Nay, there was others. As a matter of fact, let me see right here. Top 50 news websites in the world in September. Well, just like so many of the rags and the British tabloid media, the Daily Fail is losing. Let me see what this says. Global visits. So when it comes to people visiting the Daily Mail online, that has dropped by 5%. And month on month, it has dropped, 5%. Yeah. Yeah, so 5% straight across the board, month on month. So they are losing readers. All of them, all of the rags are losing. Let me see who's in the plus category. The Independent, News, what is that, 18.com, USAtoday.com, People Magazine, okay. Yeah, so there's a few people that are winning, but it ain't Daily Mail. They're losing. By the way, today's Royal Sussex is brought to you by Cambridge Curl, but no lie, Royal Relaxer. Cambridge Curl. Give your hair that royal treatment. Cambridge Curl. Cambridge Curl. Yes, give your hair a whirl with Cambridge Curl. And unfortunately, we're out of the do-rags and skull caps. If you would have ordered sooner, you could have got the post-Jubilee gift with purchase of 3 do-rags and skull caps. But that was while supplies last. Unfortunately, we're all out of those. So Cambridge Curl. Cambridge Curl. Anyway, we all know what the Daily Mail is fit for. Although I'm not sure that I would use that because chances are it is infected with innuendo and lies. So I don't know that I would use it for that, but some people might. Some people might even want to wrap a fish in it but yeah. Other than that, the Daily Mail is not fit for much. Play tells people why I feel sorry for Prince Harry on Poppy Day. Now, this is another article from the Daily Mail that was written today because I guess they're trying to hurt Harry's feelings. The article goes on about something we were talking about just the other day, and that was when the royal family refused to lay a wreath on behalf of Prince Harry. He mentioned it in Spare, right? So part of the attack from the Daily Mail today was to mention, the Remembrance Day, and notice that they call it Poppy Day because, again, Harry wanted them to lay a wreath at the cenotaph, realizing that he would be unable to come to the ceremony. They refused to do it, and so then Harry said, "Well, can you lay a wreath someplace else in the Commonwealth?" They refused to do it. So finally, Harry called a friend, and the friend was able to lay the wreath on Harry's behalf at some other location that was for people that had been to Iraq. What is that? But he's still in great pain over rift with Harry. So yeah, that's the front page of the paper right there. They want to remind people that Harry has injured his father terribly before his 75th birthday. Never mind his father having used Harry or his stepmother, the queen consort, having used Harry to reform their reputations that was in tatters. Like when they led people to believe that Harry had gone to a drug rehab. knowing that it wasn't true, but that was in the papers. They leaked Harry's location while he was in Canada, right? They even cut off his funding and security, leaving him vulnerable to just about anybody to attack him and his family. But Charles is the injured party. And of course, all of this, it's just like they used to do the Queen. Oh, I can't believe they're doing this. The Queen is 94 and Philip's in the hospital. Remember that? And then after Philip died, oh, I can't believe they're putting the Queen through this. The Queen is 95 and Philip just died. Uh-huh. Now is the Queen died in agony and Charles's 75th birthday is coming. I can't believe they're doing this. How many more times are you all going to pretend to be shocked and outraged? The Queen survived 3 of her 4 children going through divorce, right? The Queen survived having someone shooting a starter pistol while she was riding in a parade, right? The Queen survived Philip jettisoning his car across the intersection when he broke that woman's arm that day, right? You think that didn't stress the Queen out when Philip broadsided someone's car and broke her arm? The Queen's husband literally broke a woman's arm at an intersection, crossing the road without even stopping. He didn't even look. The lady said he just drove straight through and broadsided her car and broke her arm. Philip was upside down in his Range Rover when the authorities rescued him. And even with all of that, he wasn't ready to give up his license. But Harry and Meghan made the Queen's life agony. If there was anything that bothered the Queen, you want to know what it was? I'm going to tell you what bothered the Queen. Okay, here it comes. This is what caused the Queen agony. This and this, right? These, that's what caused the Queen agony. And those 2 misfits right there, let's not forget them, right? That's what caused the Queen agony. It certainly wasn't Harry and Meghan. That's what caused the Queen agony. Maybe the monarchy and his staff are all constipated. That's why they're all in pain. Fergie in her bio book described these men in gray in the palace looking constipated. Yeah. Was that before or after she jammed her foot down somebody's mouth? Huh. Was that before or after she was trying to sell access to the Duke of York? I'm just asking for a friend. It's not that I dislike Sarah. I'm just saying, because that would definitely have caused the Queen agony. You see, I like to point this out because the people that's trying to gaslight everyone, they love to keep throwing Harry and Meghan's name in there, and then it's repeated by other people that are trying to drive that narrative, when the truth is that whole family is full of misfits. That does not include Harry and Meghan. The whole family is full of misfits. Thank you, Cat Mom Ohio. Thank you very much. There we go. Thank you very much. Well, yeah, I just want to make sure that I put everything in proper context, because otherwise we only have the words of the derangers and the tabloid media. Now, tomorrow, London is bracing itself because there are threats of a big showdown during the Remembrance Day celebration. Say, please, can I say something? We cannot go home. This is 4 days, and when oh, that's nonsense right there. I don't want to read that. Let me see. The Million March for Palestine in London, Saturday, the 11th of November. Well, you guys, it is going to be huge. Now, at first, they were going to try to stop the protests, right? But they decided that that was a bad idea because, again, it's supposed to be a country where freedom of speech exists. And I think given the current state of people, that trying to stop this protest would backfire in the most epic way. So it's probably smart of them to leave it be. Best thing to do is to try to help keep everybody safe and not try to stop it. Yeah, Mary H. He broke that woman's arm. He broke that woman's arm. That woman was sitting on this morning with her arm in a sling, and she said that the palace had yet to apologize. I remember when she was on television, this was days after that happened. They hadn't even apologized to her, and she's sitting up there with her arm broken because the real Duke of Hazzard went careening through that intersection, and his car ricocheted off the side of her car. And next thing you know, he was upside down in his Range Rover, and her car was torn to pieces. He literally shot through that intersection like one of those Japanese bullet trains. His car was airborne by the time it stopped. You hear me? His car was airborne. How he survived that, I'll never know. But anytime you go through an intersection and all four wheels have left the ground, chances are you were going too fast. But I don't know. He was trying to get back to Penny Natchbull, right? His friend or someone very important to him, which the nature of the relationship is not publicly disclosed, but yeah, he had to get back over there with Penny Natchbull, and he went careening through that intersection like a bullet train, and he just happened to smash into the side of that woman's car. Now, I saw the woman on this morning. She had some glasses on that was as thick as the bottom of a Coke bottle, so I'm pretty sure she could see everything. She probably could see the hair bristling on his eyebrows as he grimaced, as he floored it. As he gnashed his teeth, as he slammed his foot on that accelerator and went careening through that intersection at Mach 10 until he was only stopped when he ran into her car. They say in physics, an object in motion stays in motion until acted upon by another force, right? Well, the only thing that stopped him was that woman's car. And in stopping Philip, he broke her arm. He broke the woman's arm. The woman was on the woman was on this morning with a broken arm, right? Yeah, somehow he broke her arm, and she was sitting up there looking pitiful with her arm in a sling. Now, I don't know whether she's left-handed or right-handed, but I tell you what, it could have caused her problems. You know what I mean? What if she needed to use her Daily Mail to handle her business? Well, what if that's the arm that got injured? I mean, you don't want to switch up, do you? That would be awkward. but she may not have had a choice because the Duke of Hazzard went flying through that intersection and smacked into the side of her car and did not stop until her arm was broken in two. So I guess you all got the point, right? Yes, the Duke of Hazzard. The Duke of Hazzard, Hazard County, or Great Hazard, not Great Windsor Park, Great Hazard County Park, broke that woman's arm. Broke it good too. Had her sitting up there with her arm in a sling, and he had to be dragged out of the car that was upside down. And they said he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, which is too bad because the idea of seeing Philip hanging upside down, suspended by a seatbelt in a Range Rover, kind of tickled me. But he was not. I guess he was laying on the roof of the car or whatever because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. I'm pretty sure on impact he probably I'm pretty sure on impact he wound up under the dashboard and then slid out. Once the authorities got there, they probably had to kind of snake him from up under that dashboard and the steering. They probably had to kind of slide him from up under that dashboard in the steering wheel. He probably had one foot caught in the steering wheel and his the cuff of his pants on the gear shift. They probably had to peel. They probably had to peel all of that away. Probably had to peel his fingers off the steering wheel. He probably couldn't let that steering wheel go. They had to kind of pry his knuckles away from that steering wheel because he was gripping it so tight. You know what I mean? So when he went through the intersection, upon impact, he probably was gripping the steering wheel much tighter. And then somehow the cuff of his pants got caught on the gear shift and one of his legs went through the steering wheel. So they probably had to do all kind of origami to get him out of that Range Rover. And you know he cussed him out, right? I mean, it wouldn't be Philip if it wouldn't be Philip if he didn't cuss him out. You know, they were probably trying to ask him, sir, are you okay? Just get me out of the effing car, would you? You know he cussed him out. It would not be Philip if he hadn't cussed him out. He probably called him every SOB and everything else in the book after he broke that woman's arm. So, but yeah, so that's what happened. I mean, you could really do a lot of damage when all your day is sitting around Wood Farm and Windsor Castle and going back and forth and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, poor Philip. It could have been worse though. If the worst would have happened, they would have had to bury him still gripping this. They would have had to bury him still gripping that steering wheel. Yeah, because you know what I'm saying. If he would have expired that day, they probably wouldn't have been able to get that thing out of his hands. So they would have had to bury him with it. But fortunately, he survived, and they managed to peel his arthritic knuckles away from that steering wheel and get him to a hospital. And what's so strange, too, is that at 90-something years old, he pretty much got away with a couple of scrapes, but that poor woman that he went careening into, she ended up with a broken arm. And no apology for a broken arm. So, would you just get me out of the effing car? Well, your Highness, you see, we have just get me out of the effing car. Yeah, So I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that one, or a bird in a bush or whatever to witness that. I'm sure it was colorful. I am sure it was colorful. Oh man. You just don't expect a 90-something-year-old man to be hanging upside down in a Range Rover and live to tell it. Okay, let me move on. Um yeah, so world exclusive issue. You know, Tone Deaf Charles has partnered with the Big Issue, the magazine that is made for homeless people to earn an income of some sort by purchasing the magazines for half price and then doubling the price to sell them at a profit. So they buy those magazines for £2 and then sell them for £4. I think that's the way it works. So however it works, that is their opportunity to bother people coming and going from the Pret sandwich shop or Nero's or Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? You drinking your frappuccino, and then you got somebody out there with that big issue. Now, how many issues of the magazines do you think they're going to sell with Boris? How many issues do you think that they're going to sell with Grandpa Monster on the cover? I mean, how you gonna sell the big issue with long chaining on the cover, or or Peter Lorre, or I'm trying to think who does, he kind of giving me a little Peter Lorre, but yeah, you got Boris Karloff on the cover, and you're trying to sell a magazine. I don't know how does that make sense? You didn't saw him on television. Now he's on the money and the postage stamps. How in the world are you going to get people to buy that magazine and you got Grandpa Monster on the cover, right? I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, there's some people that could sell ice cream to Eskimos, or people that could sell, aluminum siding to a brick house owner. But I don't know who in the hell is going to buy the big issue with what's his name? Um uh I guess Boris Karloff would do. Yeah, I just don't know who's going to buy that. I don't know, but I'm surely there's someone. Yeah, there's someone will buy it. Bella Lugosi, eat your heart out. Here comes Charles Mountbatten-Windsor on the big issue with his strawberry lip gloss and everything. And then right here, Charles announced that the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's government will continue to take action to ease the cost of living for families. Now that's a novel idea. I wonder who came up with that in the 11th hour, late one night, while as they say, burning the midnight oil. Somehow, in spite of more food banks than ever in the history of the United Kingdom, somehow somebody came up with that novel idea to try to ease the cost of living for families. Notice he didn't say crisis. And as Jimmy Kimmel said, the government really got this guy to sit there and talk about easing the cost of living crisis while wearing a hat worth more than Kent, or did he say $5 million? Or $45 million rather. So obviously before they teamed up with the big issue, they either forgot about this or perhaps they teamed up long before that. But whatever the case is, and you know what? That's pretty clever of Charles. Remember how he wanted to make sure that everybody had a portrait of him in their homes? Remember that? He wanted everybody to have a portrait of the king. Well, this is one way to make sure that at least some people will have it, and that's by putting him on a magazine. I don't know how many magazines would want him on the cover, but the big issue, they must be really hard up right now that they would put him on the cover. But yeah, this was just the other day. Not my king. What a contrast. You have the peasants, the subjects, on the curb, on the walking pavement, with their placards and signs and flags, while Charles III and his side piece go rolling down the street in the Royal Diamond Jubilee carriage, complete with air conditioning, gas struts, and interior, what do you call it, LED lighting and all that kind of stuff. And there's a sunroof. Yes, there is a sunroof. The light actually can come through. So, yeah, they did that, those two. But it is a far cry from the way they traveled around Kenya in that tuk-tuk. They rode around in that tuk-tuk. They took a tour around Kenya in that tuk-tuk, or tuk-tuk, however they say it in India. But yeah, they rode in one of those, probably on some roads that were closed down to the public to make sure that nobody could protest, to make sure that they can keep Egg Boy away. Which faith for Charles III? Well, let me see. Charles I lost his head. Charles II restored the monarchy, but his powers were probably stripped down to little or nothing. And then there's Charles III. What will he lose? Well, so far he's lost one of his sons. He's afraid of the other. He's about to lose the rest of the Commonwealth. He already lost half of it because of one of his sons, but now he's going to lose the rest of it. And I guess the only thing that he'll keep is the Prince's Trust. Yeah, he'll get to keep the Prince's Trust. He made sure of that. So what a contrast. Charles I, or is that the second? Yeah, that's Charles II, looking resplendent. Or is that Charles I? No, that's the second. Anyway, that Charles is the one that was so fascinated with the King of France. He was, I think it was Louis XIV. He loved him some Louis XIV. All he can think about is, does Louis wear this? Does Louis wear this? So he, what do you call it? He wanted to do everything he could to look like a king of France. And then, of course, the modern day Charles is sitting up there in all of his royal regalia, making sure that he looks the part. I think after a while, even the queen stopped wearing that crown. She would wear that diadem or whatever they call it. But he wanted to remind people who was boss, so he had them pull out all the stops. I know you guys thought surely by now he's finished, right? No, not yet. I think I still got, let me see how many slides. I think I still got just a few slides left. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I got 3 slides left after this. We're almost there. Keeping it in the family. Queen Camilla leaves party at Oswald's to celebrate her nephew Ben Elliot's investiture, right? Now, Ben Elliot, where do I know that name from? Ben Elliot. Well, I see him there with Boris Johnson, right? I see him there with Camilla Queen Consort. I see him there with the Queen Consort, Charles III, and there's Ben Elliot. Well, he's a snappy dresser. You got to give it to him. He wears a really nice suit. He always dresses extra nice. Very tall guy, too. He's probably about 6'4", probably about 6'4". Um, okay looking. And the reason why I say okay looking is because he's related to Queen Camilla. That's right. That's as it says, that's her nephew. Kind of strange because usually the people in the Queen's family are kind of hard and edgy looking, but like I say, he's okay. Sir Ben, 48, the former chair of the Conservative Party and son of Camilla's sister Annabel Elliot, and her late husband Simon, was knighted as part of Boris Johnson's resignation honors. So when Boris Johnson was leaving, he decided to honor Sir Ben Elliot as whatever his title is. So Queen Camilla took time out of her busy schedule, that's a joke, to support her nephew Ben Elliot as he was formally invested as a Knight Bachelor on Thursday. Sir Ben, 48, the former chair of the Conservative Party and son of Camilla's sister Annabel Elliot and her late husband Simon, was knighted as part of Boris Johnson's resignation honors. Celebrating after the ceremony, Camilla headed to Mayfair Private Members Club Oswald's alongside a flurry of well-heeled guests. As a matter of fact, if you take a look at that petrified look on Sir Ben's face, you can see he's not really excited about this attention from the Daily Mail, but attention he got. Now, the reason why I know who he is because not only was he the chair of the Conservative Party, but until 2019, that's when he stepped down. No, or was it 2021? He stepped down as the chair, I think it was a chairman or board of director or whatever, for YouGov.com. YouGov, the poster people. He was working at YouGov. How beneficial must it be for the queen consort that most people hate to have a nephew, your sister's beloved son? How interesting is it that Ben Elliot was working at the YouGov? As a matter of fact, I know he stepped down from one position, but I don't know that he ever left YouGov. Now, I tried to find a definitive answer, yes or no. Does he still work for YouGov? But even if he's not there anymore, something tells me at maybe 6'4", 6'5", he probably has a tremendous reach physically and spiritually. He probably has a tremendous reach. Tall people tend to make a great impression for some reason. And so, whatever the case may be, I'm pretty sure that he has friends in high places. He has family in high places. All of that. I mean, Charles and Camilla was at his wedding, for goodness sakes. So, yeah, that's something to think about. That Ben Elliott from YouGov, from the Conservative Party, and all of the above mentioned, that person just happens to be Camilla's nephew. Interesting. Well, I got some good news for you, and this will be our last word of the day, but instead it's going to be, I guess it is a word of the day. A good thing about winter. Yes, that's the good thing about winter. You could say one thing while saying something else. That's the good thing about winter. The good thing about wearing your mittens in winter is that you can say some things and say something else, and the other person isn't the least bit aware of it. So that is our last word of the day, our last thought for the day. And then finally, single mom becomes first Black woman in New York to own a spring water bottling plant. You go, girl. I have no idea who she is. I didn't have time to look, but good for her. Good for her. She has her own bottling plant. So she is creating generational wealth. And with that, you guys, I am done. 3 hours and 37 minutes. I'm done. Thank you all so much. The 1,000 of you that stuck around to the end, I thank you. The 200 or so people that were here earlier, thank you for being here if you're listening later. But yeah, I really appreciate it. I think I got a lot off my chest. I made my feelings known about some of those people, and I feel better. If nobody else, I feels better about it. I think they got the message. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. And yes, my mouth is kind of dry, but why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be? Let me see here. Okay. Good night, Flower and Flower's mom. And good night, good King Harry and Harry's mom. Right? Thank you, moderators. And thank you, everyone, for your very generous and thoughtful super chats and super stickers. Thank you, Elaine Parker, Lydia Washington, Church Nelly with 26 months of membership. Black Queen, thank you for your super chat. Charlene Bates, thank you for your super chat. Joanne Hong for your super sticker. Sarah Turner, thank you for the super chat. And wow, Sarah Turner. Are there two Sarah Turners? That's interesting. There seems to be two, right? Am I seeing things? There's one, two. Wow. I know I'm a little punchy right now, but that is two Sarah Turners, right? Well, anyway, thank you both for your super chats. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Oh, and yeah, we're done. And thank you for the Cash App earlier. Oh, it's 3:14 a.m. on the East Coast. Well, I better hurry up and try to get some sleep. Otherwise, I'm going to start watching the protest at the in London, and then I'll be up all night. And I don't want that to happen. So, oh, wow. I had fun, you guys. I had a lot of fun tonight. Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I always have a good time with the Sussex squad, though. And I hope that you all get something out of this. I hope. Let me see here. Cookies and cream, everyone, please stay safe, pray, don't peg, and hydrate. Oh, thank you, Connie Balmer. I did have fun. And thank you for starting your day with Royal Sussex. Let me see. Oh, Rory B's going to listen to the replay. Okay, very cool. Thank you. Much obliged. Yes, Church Nelly is back and hopefully just as feisty as ever. And happy Veterans Day, Church Nelly, wherever you are. Happy Veterans Day. Which reminds me, I have some phone calls to make. Or as I like to say, it's time for me to get cussed out. uh, oh, thank you, Cookies and Cream. All right, Ginger Avenger, and we're out. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Cambridge girl, Cambridge girl.